Rare supply. Some jewelers put you on wait lists. Others make you buy their other jewelry at inflated prices just to be considered for a Rolex purchase. Well, that's all changed now that Genesis Diamonds has arrived. Genesis Diamonds is the premier dealer of luxury pre-owned Rolex timepieces. People who come in are shocked to see Daytonas, Hulks, Submariners, Pepsis, Datejusts, all the hard-to-find Rolex watches ready to wear today. At Genesis, we've used our worldwide connections to find only the first luxury pre-owned Rolexes, immaculate, pristine watches, fairly priced with no strings attached, and with flexible financing options. So enough with the wait list and the retail jeweler games. Get the Rolex of your dreams today at Genesis Diamonds. And if you already have a Rolex and are interested in trading up, we also have Rolex buyers on site every day. Just another example of how we're forever changing the jewelry landscape here. Genesis Diamonds, official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31385, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
And Bonds hits right high. It's a deep. It is out of here. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker.
It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
Here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Man, oh man, was that game drunk last night at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. And you know what's tough? Getting up with a hangover. I think there'll be a lot of hangovers around the area after Memphis survives Navy last night on national television, 28-24. We are here to talk about that and everything else that's going on in the world of sports. Happy Friday, everybody. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you on this Friday, September 15th, 2023. Broadcasting live and in color from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale, continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Man, it was perfect weather last night. And right now, as you get your early Friday going, the weekend just about here, 58 degrees. Oh, it feels so refreshing out there. Clear skies, 58. We're looking at a high today of 84. Partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 62. And Saturday looks nice. Partly cloudy skies with a high of 86. As I mentioned, Tigers, Navy, first and foremost, but lots to get to, including Jay Norvell, his comments to Coach Prime, and Coach Prime's retort. Ole Miss coach Lane Kiffin and the school is being sued. We'll tell you why. We'll talk some NFL after a wild Thursday night game between Philadelphia and Minnesota, and Aaron Rodgers is on the mend. College basketball, Lemoyne Owen is named a new coach. We will talk about all those subjects here on the program today. John Varlas will join us at 7:25 in studio to talk prep football. At 9:05, handicapper Brandon Lang will break down some of the big college football and NFL games for the weekend. And at 9:30, we'll talk to the former All-Pro linebacker, now broadcaster Chad Brown, who's been on with us several times. He's a former University of Colorado star. So we'll talk to him about Coach Prime and about the National Football League. Because we have two guests in our final hour, we'll do 10 in a row at about 8:30. So 10 in a row, about an hour earlier than usual if you want to try to win a great gift package to get your weekend started. That is the lineup for today's program. Of course, you can hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines anytime. Call in or text in at 901-360-8255. I can't promise you we'll get to your calls when guests are on, but during open segments, certainly, and texts, obviously, the entire time of the show. 360-8255, or you can hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, or on the website. That's sportsmemphis.com. Wow. You were there last night.
I was indeed.
That was a drunk game.
It was an interesting game.
It was crazy, man. Let's be honest. It seemed like it was two teams that for a while both didn't want to win and then realized, hey, we do want to win. And it comes down to the final moments of that game. But every time you thought Memphis was going to pull away, here comes Navy. The first half, Memphis' defense, which had been stellar through two games against inferior opponents, playing a better threat in the triple option offense, struggled. And then in the second half, they got it really going, except for a couple of long third down situations that Navy converted. But for the most part, the defense rose to the occasion in the second half. And then there was Blake Watson, who was the star of the show offensively with his big game, running the football, just 10 totes. He ends up going for a net of 169. That's 16.9 per carry. But when the Tigers had a chance to probably put it away, there was the fumble into the end zone for the touchback. So every time they seemed to be on the precipice of just putting the game away, they weren't able to do so. We ended up having a thriller coming down to a timeout that Ryan Silverfield had to call to make sure they looked at the spot of a football, which was about a yard and a half short of where they spotted it. But it ends up going in the favor of Memphis. They moved to 3-0 as they win it 28-24.
Yeah, it's listen, an ugly win is always better than any loss. There's no doubt about that. I did not see Navy putting up 430 yards in a game. This is not a very good Navy offense. The turnovers late in the game are things you just can't do. I mean, the fumble at the goal line is just absolutely inexcusable. He would have walked into the end zone on that play. The interception by Hennigan threw to the wrong guy. The guy on the outside was wide open, had beaten his guy by 2 steps, and he throws to the wrong guy there. And it's a poor throw that allows the guy to undercut it. I mean, those are things that you can't do against good football teams for sure. They were, in the end, they're lucky to escape with a win. But when you make mistakes like that in the final 6 minutes of a game, in a close game, that's just stuff you cannot do. And kudos to the defense for getting a stop when they had to finally. But this was not a great performance by any means.
Yeah, that's one you get the hell out of there. Once you saw zeros on the clock, forget about the celebration. Get the hell out of there because it just seemed like, to me, that Memphis was going to lose because it seemed like every time they took a step forward, they took 2 steps backwards. And I'm thinking to myself, what else can go wrong here? It's interesting that the possession before the Hennigan interception, the last Memphis possession before the Hennigan interception, they were deep in their own territory, so they were pretty conservative. But it was a couple of runs up the middle. I don't even know if they passed the ball. I'm trying to remember if they did. They may have on third down. But it's very conservative, and you heard some of the boo birds. The boo birds were out at times last night. And so you question that, although you can kind of understand Tim Cramsey and the offense being a little bit more conservative there on that series. Then you get the series where he threw the pick, and you're saying to yourself, okay, time's winding down. It's I think it was under 5 minutes, right? And this time they throw the ball. So now it's, wait, don't throw the ball. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But he throws, like you said, to the wrong receiver, the one that was undercut by that defensive back who made a really nice play on it. But Seth completely missed a wide open receiver, which probably would have been a touchdown. There were just ample opportunities for the Tigers to put the game away. They go back to the replay on the long Watson had 2 long runs, but on the one where they ended up fumbling subsequently. And it was so close to him actually hitting the pylon and being a touchdown, but they mark him out at the 1, and rightly so. And then, lo and behold, they fumbled into the end zone. So every time those things kept happening, all I was thinking to myself on the sideline there was, it's kind of fate. They're losing this game. They had won 4 in a row over Navy. It's Navy's time. It just is not going well for the Tigers. And I guess the one real positive, aside from just the win, but this is part of just the win, is the fact that last year this team doesn't win that game because they had trouble finishing games last year. This time they were able, as hairy as it was, to finish the game and get the W. And now you move on. You got plenty of time to get ready for a big challenge against Mizzou a week from tomorrow in St. Louis, a Mizzou team that just several years ago destroyed Memphis. But again, you lick your wounds, you get back to work, you thank the football gods that you're 3-0, and you go from there.
Yeah, they're obvious. Again, you end up winning the game. You will take that. You run, and yes, they, and I use air quotes here, finished the game and got the win. But again, when you fumble an exchange at the 1 with 6 minutes to go, you throw a terrible interception with 2 minutes to go. The offense didn't finish the game. The offense tried everything they could to lose the game in the final 6 minutes. Like those are things. Again, this is not a good Navy team. They're not going to win a whole lot of games. And you got in some ways lucky that I don't know, maybe the length of the football difference. If the guy is 2 feet further forward when he catches the pass, they're going to have at least one shot at the end zone, maybe 2 shots at the end zone to try and beat you. And that game should never have come down to a final Navy drive. It should have been put away long before that.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. I think you're exactly right. But what it doesn't mean that this becomes a trend and they're going to trip over themselves the rest of the season. They have to be better. You're right. If they were playing this way against Missouri, Tulane, SMU, a lot of teams on that schedule, Boise State, they're losing the football game. You can't make the mistakes that they made. They made a ton of mistakes. But again, the most important thing is they're 3-0. They got the win, right? It's one of those deals, and now you move on. We can sit here, and we will, because that's what we do. We analyze, we break down, we take your phone calls, and you could start calling in right now if you'd like to on Tigers football. You could text in on Tigers football if you'd like. And we're going to talk about, and most of the people will talk about the negative stuff, right? And certainly there was a lot last night. But the bottom line is the bottom line. I'm a bottom line guy. I'm a bottom line guy in everything in life. And the bottom line is they escaped. They got the W. They continue to play, or they continue to win at home, not necessarily play well at home. They win at home. And they found a way to finish the game much, and you're right, much to the, I guess, non-help, if you will, can't think of the term, for the offense and their performance for the most part. However, silver lining in the offense was Blake Watson. And maybe we're seeing the emergence of a guy who, again, has transferred here, and it's not like he's going to be able to spend a lot of time here. This is the only year he's going to play, I believe, right? He's already graduated, and now he's getting his master's, I guess, is what he's doing. But I think he's here just through the portal for the 1 year. But Watson looks like he could be that next star running back and that long line of running backs that the Tigers had but have been without the last couple of years. He looked magnificent.
Yeah, he's got great feet. I mean, his cuts, and he's got a burst. Like there's a lot to like about him. Obviously can catch the ball. He's a guy that certainly has to be the feature of this offense. Like you've got to get the ball in his hands. I mean, he is a playmaker. He looked really, really good. Again, he can't drop a handoff at the 1 yard line into the end zone in that situation. You got to make sure you secure the handoff. But he's got a lot to like. There's no doubt. I mean, he's got some couple of moves he made, and just the burst that he has is. There's definitely he has a chance to put up some big numbers.
237 yards for Watson between running the ball and receiving the ball. Now, look, I was critical kind of to myself, not on the air, and I know a lot of people were critical as well as to why you hand the ball off to Watson when Hennigan, a big guy, had been running the ball well, and he already had a touchdown on basically a bootleg and then had that quarterback sneak. Why not sneak it right there at the one? It almost seems like it was kind of a payoff to Watson, who did all the work to get down there. You want to pay him off with a touchdown. But I think the safer play right there is Hennigan behind center, getting pushed in from the back by Chisholm, who has been playing a lot of fullback, a tight end for the Tigers. And I think you got a higher percentage because there's really the only exchange is the center quarterback as opposed to center quarterback then running back. Although you should execute that play 99.9% of the time.
You executed a lot throughout the game, and he was going to walk. Like he would have walked into the end zone. He would not have been touched. I mean, all he has to do is literally grab the ball. It's a freak thing, but again, in a situation like that is, I mean, ball security is the number one thing.
Yep.
You can absolutely just
can't have that happen.
Cannot have something like that happen. You had a chance to put the game away, and you did not do that.
On the flip side, you have Navy and their new coach, Brian Newberry. As we were told in the coaches' meeting, that Newberry is more conservative. He's more of an analytics guy, whereas Niumatalolo would be more of the gambler. And here you have Newberry in the first half on the fourth down, near midfield, go for it. Great defensive stand by the Tigers. They had a couple of those. And they get the ball short field, and they score that touchdown right before the end of the first half, which was huge. And then they got the ball to start the second half. And then Newberry tries the onside kick, and it was actually almost perfectly executed. It was just outside the reach of the gunner on the one side. But again, he was gambling last night. He's taking these chances, and so you can look at it and go, maybe if he was a little bit more conservative, they win the game. Hindsight, who knows? But I think the game plan for Navy, some of the things they did defensively were different than what Memphis anticipated, which gave them a little bit of trouble. So, again, we'd love to hear from you. And, Zach, I'm going to get your opinion as well on what you saw last night. It wasn't pretty. They're not going to put this one in a time machine for people of the future to watch, or a time capsule, rather. But a win is a win. I'm sure you watched it, Zach. What did you think?
Whew. Boy, the blood pressure kind of rose up a couple of times during the game. I think it is a product of a Thursday night game, a short week. You could tell they had an idea, had a game plan of attack. I mean, the defense, early on, they couldn't tackle no one.
No, it was the worst tackling I've seen. I didn't think they would be, after two games, again, I understand the caveat, inferior competition, but tackling is tackling. And they were textbook tackling for two games. And this game last night, they're trying to arm tackle that big fullback who's a bowling ball, and he's rolling over him. And then one of the other things of our conversation with the coaches was that their defense has to play outside in. In other words, you can't give them the edge, right? Because they do have some speed. They're not all the greatest athletes, but they play hard, they play physical, and they were out physicaling the Tigers for the most part, at least in that first half. And so what do? The guy gets the edge, takes the edge, and then goes up the sideline, scores the touchdown. It's exactly what they said they can't do. And then a couple of guys in the secondary, getting out of their lanes. Yeah. And that's why that pop pass worked. Every once in a while they're going to do that. They're throwing the ball a little bit more now, Navy. And they've run that play in the past with Niumatalolo. Usually doesn't work because normally they don't have a quarterback who can throw the ball. And Lavate's not the greatest, right? You saw a lot of inaccurate passes. But, man, he drilled that one perfectly. And so it has to burn the defense when you're thinking, my gosh, you're coming up to play the run, and here comes the pass, and that's what you can do out of that triple option offense. Every once in a while, it's kind of like they were trying to catch. That's what Navy does offensively. They try to catch you guessing, off guard, kind of a chess match thing. You zig, they zag. They're not a bad team. They're not a great team. Okay, you saw what Notre Dame did to them, but that's Notre Dame. I'll be curious to see what Navy's able to do the rest of the season in conference play. But again, this is something you have to learn from as a whole for the Tigers. There's things that they have to get better at, and there's things that they absolutely have to fix.
Yeah, and it's so funny because Eli brought this up at some point earlier in the week or a couple weeks ago about the Naval Academy not having a lot of talent. Because last night's game showed me that the scheme looked pretty decent when they factor in some pass plays within that triple option. If they had like a quarterback that can really sling it and knows how to work the triple option really well.
Right,
but no
quarterback that has that kind of capability wants to play it.
That's
for a triple option offense.
That's where we are.
And they don't get to go into the transfer portal and find one. Like that's their problem. That's their issues that they have. It is what it is, and that's why. I mean, when they've got the dynamic quarterback,
they're deadly.
They can be really good, but Lavatai is not that dynamic, and so it's a little difficult. Again, this is, I mean, It's not a very good Navy offense. The fact that they are throwing the ball more at least makes it because they're not able to just run it every single play, especially with Lavatai at quarterback. They're going to have to mix in the throws in order to do really much of anything. But I just don't believe that's a really good Navy offense, and it is what it is for them. They have to deal with the limitations of the current world of college football that others do not have to deal with.
That is 5 straight wins for the Tigers in this series, and now improved to 6-3 overall against Navy. Now, let's talk about basically the last play. There was still the kneel down for the Tigers to end the game officially, but the game was done for all intents and purposes after they looked at the play and realized that he was short of the mark to gain on that 4th down play. They almost got away with it.
Whew.
I was right there on the 10-yard line looking down. I could not have been in any better position. And when he was being tackled, I made sure to look to see if there was any forward progress or whatever, but I saw where that ball was in his hand, and that ball never crossed the 10-yard line. It was about the 10.5. They mark it at the 9. And I go, oh, my gosh, because I'm sitting there. Harry Lyles is right next to me, the ESPN sideline guy. I said, he's a yard and a half short. And Ryan Silverfield's going ballistic here. And he says, you got to look at it. And they're basically saying, we already looked at it. They're marking it at the 9. They're going to get another play. And finally, Silverfield calls the timeout. I mean, he's disgusted, but he has to call the timeout to give. Now they look at it, and then they realize he was short. So I don't understand. All those plays are supposed to be reviewed from up top. I don't know how you wouldn't stop play to make sure that that's the right mark. I don't get it. It comes down to really that play is the difference in the game. I'm not saying they would have automatically scored the next play, but they could have, and they're giving them the benefit of the doubt when it wasn't even close. So at least they got it right in the end, but it took. Luckily, Silverfield had a timeout.
Well, I mean, they very well might have stopped it if he doesn't call a timeout or whatever, because I think they ended up going to review before they even took the chains off the field. But
I saw the guy putting the football down to mark it, and then maybe that's when they stopped him or something. But it was close enough to where you started.
He was marking. The chains were still on the field though at that point.
Okay,
they hadn't even taken the chains off the field.
But that's the worry, right? That you get a bad mark and a bad spot, and then they get a play and they win the game.
First of all, the yellow line was so far off of it was weird on
the TV,
because the yellow line was at the 9. When they stretched the chains out, you saw it. They didn't have to get really that close to the 9. It was actually closer to the 10. It wasn't even halfway to the 9 where the actual first down was to get to. Whether they never had a real good angle to tell whether he got to the 10-yard line or whatever. They didn't have anything right down the line. You couldn't tell exactly where the ball was. But that yellow line made it look like it was well short. Well, the yellow line was off by a half a yard to begin with. The funny thing is the official who comes in to mark it from the visiting side, he comes in at like the 9.5. But then when he grabs the ball,
he puts it forward
to the 9.
Right.
At the 9.5, it would have been, if he would have marked it at the 9.5, they probably, when measuring it, still get the first down. Then I don't know whether they would have moved that back on replay or not. That would have been close. But the fact that he moved it up to the 9 wasn't even like, I don't even know what the hell he was. He literally ran in at 9.5, grabs the ball, and sets it at the 9.
Look, all I know is I was right there. That ball in his hand when he fell on the ground landed at about the 10.25 or 10.5. It was not even at the 10, let alone the 9.5 or the 9. So, again, it was luckily, in the end, spotted correctly. Memphis gets the big stop. And again, defensively, first half, they really struggled. Second half, they did a lot of great things. There were a couple of breakdowns on those 3rd and longs, but in the end, they get the big stop. They get the W. We'll talk a lot more about the Tigers and Navy, get your thoughts as we progress along on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. But when we come back, it's all about prep football. John Varlas will join us. If you have any questions about any of the games that are on tap for tonight or just general questions about your favorite team in the high school world here locally, give us a hit up on the text line, Sports 56 listener line. You can text in at 901-360-8255. Folks, Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, they've been around now for a number of years, locally owned and operated company. If you need a new roof, if you need roof repairs, you call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options to suit your budget. They'll work with your insurance company. Remember, your insurance company can't tell you what company to use. That's your choice. And they'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes to get that roof fixed. They're part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active, or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing, so business owners, along with property managers and homeowners, of course. If you have any problem with your roof, call today. Call Brandon. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. Member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof. That's a 5-year labor warranty, and satisfaction with all their work is absolutely guaranteed. There's something you don't like that they did, they'll come back and they'll make sure that you are satisfied. They do carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing and siding, rotten wood repair. Anything you can't do yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle. Quality work at a very reasonable price. Again, it's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. For all your roofing and home repair needs, call Brandon at 901-438-5084. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. John Varlas is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
A cold shower is no way to start your day. Purchase a new water heater from the pros at Conway Services, and you may be eligible for up to $2,000 in federal tax credits. Call 384-3511 to schedule your appointment. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave and Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings. All at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
Sports 56 traffic.
Working an accident on Mount Moriah at Quince Road. That's Mount Moriah at Quince. Wells Station at Gray Road. That's Wells Station at Gray Road. Then accident on Mill Branch at Non-Kana. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:30 the time. Late night last night for most who were either watching the Tigers game on television or at the stadium, like the three of us, because John Varlas is that third. It's time for JV.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
John Varlas is the award-winning Daily Memphian prep reporter, but so much more, including covering the Tigers game last night. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us every Friday talking prep football and other things. JV, how are you?
Pretty good, guys. How are you? I like to think of myself as the Travis Hunter of local sports journalism. I go both ways.
That is
Zach. Okay, don't cut that.
Sorry, too late.
That is that's a bold statement.
No,
you're putting yourself.
It goes both ways.
Well, I put in lots of plays. I put in lots of plays.
Lots of
quit while you're ahead.
Yeah. Lots of snaps. Lots of snaps.
All right. So before we dive into prep football, since you were at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium last night covering the Tigers game for the Daily Memphian, what did you think?
Well, and maybe this point of view is influenced by the fact that I cover so much high school football, and it's and the skill level in high school, obviously, in college is two totally different things. But I just see how hard it is to win a football game. I see so many times where a coach will have the perfect play drawn up and the wide receiver is wide open and he drops the pass or it misses a block or gets a bad snap on an extra point or something like that to cause the team to lose the game. And you just see that a lot in high school, and it just really makes me appreciate how hard it is to actually win a football game. And I just feel like as long as you are winning, you're on the right track. And I think ultimately, too, Greg, over the course of a season, if you're going to be a good team, you're going to have games where you have to play, where you win and not play well. And I think this was maybe a good sign for Memphis. They didn't play well in the first half. Like you just said to me off the air, they got manhandled in the first half, I think, by Navy. They couldn't figure out how to stop the triple option. They gave up that big, long touchdown run, and then they gave up a long pass there early in the third quarter that set up another touchdown. But, after that in the second half, the defense played extremely well. I think we saw the emergence of maybe a go-to running back in Blake Watson. And, ultimately, I think there were far more positives to take from that game than negatives. And certainly at the end of the day, 3-0 is 3-0. And now you regroup, clean up what you did wrong, and get ready for Missouri. And you have a chance to do something special there.
Mr. Positive, John Varlas.
Well, it's just hard to. Like I said, watching these high school teams, it's just hard to win a football game. There's just so many things that can go wrong, and unless you're like 2000s Miami or 1980s Nebraska or somebody like that, where you just go in there and roll up every day and beat everybody by 30, 40, 50 points. You're gonna have those games where you got to just squeak it out and just get it done. Kind of by any means necessary, and that's what happened last night. But, I know the entire city of Memphis last night was up and screaming at their TV, check the spot. and thankfully they did. And because that would have been a horrible way to lose, because clearly, that wasn't a first down. And thankfully they got that right. And like you said, Greg, Memphis gets out of there with a win. So, yeah, I don't know.
That's the bottom line, right?
That's it. Winning, 3-0 is 3-0, and to me, I still think they're on the right track. Obviously you clean up the tackling issues and some of the turnover issues. That's still kind of a bugaboo for them. But going forward, I haven't seen anything that's caused me to lose the optimism that I have for this team. I really haven't.
So, despite the performance last night, and I don't know where those tackling issues came from. We did not see that in the first two games. And I know, again, you weren't playing great competition, but they were wrapping up in the first two games.
But you just said the competition doesn't really matter in terms of tackling.
Exactly.
Tackling is
It's
tackling.
technique, right.
Bethune-Cookman and Arkansas State were running down the field the same as Navy was.
Exactly, John.
So, yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
but
it's just a weird thing, and it might have been schemes or positioning or things of that nature, but those things are easily correctable. It's not that they suddenly forgot how to tackle.
Right. So you turn around and one more thing, and then we'll move on to prep football. But and Eli, jump in on this one. Do you feel any different about their chances to beat Missouri? We know that Missouri squeaked by Middle Tennessee State last week. They got K-State tomorrow. You and I both picked, I think, K-State to win this game and maybe even win comfortably. I don't know how good Missouri is. I know the last time Memphis played Missouri destroyed them. They obviously are a Power 5 school from the SEC. But I thought all along going into the season that Memphis had a chance to win. Do we feel any different after last night seeing the tackling issues and the turnovers, or do you still feel that they have a chance?
I think they have a chance. I don't feel better about their chances against anybody after last night than I did going into last night. I think last night was a bad performance against a bad team. If they weren't playing a bad team, they would have lost the game.
And you think that'll carry over?
Well, if you can't tackle, you can't tackle.
But going back to what John said, the other two teams they play, they're running the ball, they're throwing the ball.
Those players aren't as good. Those teams are terrible.
Right.
There's a reason Arkansas State hasn't scored a touchdown yet. And Bethune-Cookman is Bethune-Cookman.
I agree. Last night, a problem was with the bowling ball. Their fullback, they kept trying to tackle him high.
Oh, Fofana, yeah.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, he's a good. Well,
he was tough.
And I was talking to talking to my friend on the way home, and I don't think Navy was that bad. I don't know what they're going to end up doing this season.
That's what I said earlier.
They had some players. I liked Fofana. I thought the quarterback played. I thought both quarterbacks played well, Horvath and Ty Lavatai, which I love saying. Ty Lavatai, Beetlejuice. You know, I love that.
You thought they both played well, though.
I thought Lavatai played well. I was surprised that Navy threw the ball as effectively as they did, honestly. I mean, to me, compared to past Navy teams, that was the Mike Leach air raid out there, and I thought they executed
element
their game
of surprise,
well.
right?
I thought Teska, the running back, was well. I thought they had,
good.
they were physical up front, Greg, like you said. I think they had some guys on defense. I'm not making Navy out to be a super team by any stretch. I mean, they probably are what they are, but I don't know necessarily that they're as bad as what fans might have seen against Notre Dame, and honestly, that might be more of an indication of how good Notre Dame is.
I agree with you.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see it when they play a few of these American Conference teams where they
some
stand.
of these middle of the road AAC teams. I certainly think they got a chance to be competitive within the league.
Okay.
But who knows?
Let's move on to your forte, although you do everything well.
Oh, thank
and that's
you so much.
high school football. Last week, anything earth-shattering that came out of last week?
Well, I think the most significant thing last night was the way
last night or last week?
Last week,
Okay.
excuse me. That was the way that Southwind went up there to Munford and just just kind of laid the wood on the Cougars. I mean, that was a matchup of that was a matchup of probably the two best teams in the region, but Southwind left no room, no margin for error. I mean, it was 42-0. The game was over at halftime, and just a tremendous performance by them. And their quarterback in particular, Kelvin Perkins, who continues to shine and continues to prove himself as the best 10th grade quarterback in the state of Tennessee, in my opinion. I mean, this kid is just awesome, Greg. He's and watching him play, I think he's kind of got that it factor where you see a quarterback and you see a natural leader and a natural talent and a natural star quarterback. Some guys just kind of have it, and you can just kind of see it.
How big is he?
Well, he's got to get a little bigger to play at a high college.
Well, he's only
level,
10th grade.
He's like 6'1", and I think he's probably like 190.
Okay.
He's put together well, and he's grown a lot since last year. I think if he puts on maybe 2-3 more inches and maybe 15, 20 pounds by the time he's a senior, I think this kid will be able to write his ticket, honestly. And we talk so much about where are the great quarterbacks coming, from Memphis. I mean, this year I think we have some guys like, Kelvin Perkins, obviously, guys like Aiden Glover from Collierville, who's going to play at Missouri. Some of these other guys who I'm kind of blanking out on. Brady Hughes at MUS is playing well. I think the city is finally starting to produce some quarterback prospects. But just a great showing from Southwind last week. I mean, he threw 4 touchdowns. They went to 4 different receivers, so spreading the love around. Great defensive effort by Southwind with Antoine Kiefer and Kavion Perkins and those guys, and that win vaults Southwind into the state 5A rankings this week, which I think is where they deserve because, outside of a non-region game coming up against Melrose here in a couple of weeks, they're going to have to do a lot wrong to lose in the regular season. I think, going forward, I think they're that good. And, I think they're on to potentially something special there at Southwind.
Yeah, I mean, are they like a legit state championship contender?
That's going to be tough, Eli, because the 5A is really strong. So you got teams like Beach that dropped down from 6A this year that's still really good. Obviously, Henry County is number 2 in the state, and certainly Southwind and Henry County would probably cross paths in the playoffs at some point. Teams like Nolensville and Page from the Nashville area, these are really, really good teams. So, I mean, it's going to be super duper hard to even get to the state championship game in 5A. But Southwind's good, and credit to Coach Griffin and his men over there. They're building something pretty special on the football side.
All right, and they got Kingsbury tonight?
They got Kingsbury tonight. The alma mater, unfortunately, has not scored a point this year. So
That's amazing to me.
So it's homecoming for Southwind, so it's all kind of shaping up rather nicely for Southwind tonight. And then
do you smell running clocks? Is that what I smell?
Well, unfortunately, I kind of do, but you know, it is.
Sorry, my friend.
It is what it is.
You're still a proud alum.
I am, but you know, what can you do? I mean, a lot of these it's not a great card this week, as we say, matchup wise.
But Houston Whitehaven looks like maybe the best.
That looks like a good game. I'm going to actually be down at North Point, heading down south to spotlight a couple of the small schools.
Look at you.
Fairleigh is going into North Point for a good public-private matchup. Of course, Fairleigh remains undefeated. They are the anti-Kingsbury. They are unscored upon, so Kingsbury has yet to score. Fairleigh hasn't given up a point through 4 games. And it's going to be interesting to see how that defense that's playing so well for Fairleigh fares against North Point's Jack Patterson, who is another tremendous quarterback. I think he's committed to Central Arkansas already. You know, they North Point likes to throw it around. He's got some good receivers to work with. So yeah, that's where I'll be. But no, in terms of like potential really, really good games, we kind of don't have it this week, and that's fine because we've had some really great ones up to this point.
All right, let's take a break and come back and talk about Whitehaven, Houston, and some of the other games that'll be coming up. Again, if you have a question for John, a particular team you want him to talk about, just hit us up on the Sports 56 listener lines. Text in, please, at 901-360-8255. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
At Sissy's Log Cabin, you'll find only spectacular natural diamonds that will remain treasured for generations. That promise is now symbolized by the engraved Sissy signature and sapphire, representing our guarantee of extraordinary service, selection, experience, and quality. Stop by any of our stores or visit sissyslogcabin.com and experience the Sissy's promise for yourself. Find a jeweler for a lifetime, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day, but it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero, P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details, offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealers.com.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah is about to blow my socks off.
That's right, Randy. Get 41 MPG Highway with the 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 do-it signing.
What about those cool new EVs?
I've got EV action with the 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. And the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 do-it signing. Plus, you'll get a free charger with every EV purchase, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
13 times, actually.
Welcome back. Talking with John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. All right, so a little bit on Houston Whitehaven tonight.
Well, I hesitate to say this is a must-win for Houston, but it's a very, very important game for Houston because they've already lost once in the region. So, if they were to lose tonight, that would put them at 1-2 in a very, very difficult region and making the playoffs, that much tougher. And it's, it's going to be tough going over to Whitehaven. I mean, obviously, always a great crowd over there at Whitehaven, and the Tigers are playing well too. They're 3-1. They're undefeated in the region. I think they're, potentially finding something really promising with the sophomore running back, Christopher Talley. Obviously, Kadarius Jones continues to play well at wide receiver. Whitehaven's defense played really well last week against White Station. They held White Station only 7 points. So it's gonna be a very, very tough challenge for a good Houston team. And it's again, like I said, a very important game for their postseason chances because we've talked about how tough that region is, and they'll still have a couple of challenging games left. I don't think they've played Collierville yet. I don't think they've played Bartlett yet either. They have played Germantown, and they lost to Germantown. So still some tough games coming up for Houston even after tonight.
One person texted and asked about Hamilton.
Hamilton played last night. They defeated East last night. Another great game for Jordan McKinley, who we talked about last week, I think. This kid previous to this year was not known to me. But this kid's kind of coming out of nowhere. I mean, he's scoring touchdowns left and right, returning kicks, returning punts, on defense and the receiving game. Jordan is really playing some good football for Hamilton. And, shout out to Coach Blanchard over there and all the assistants down at Southern Memphis. What do they call it? SMU, South Memphis University, SMU. So Hamilton has picked up a good win in the region last night against East. And hopefully they'll continue to make a playoff push because considering where they were at the start of last season with a 44-game losing streak, they're quite a turnaround.
Another texter asked about MUS, and MUS, even though they suffered their first loss last week, very impressive loss if you can do against Macaulay.
A nationally ranked team,
really
Macaulay.
good.
Yeah.
And they get a bit of a break this week.
Well, nationally ranked, and I think they're arguably the best team in the state, Macaulay, regardless of classification, according to some people. No, they lost, and I didn't even drop them in my rankings. They were third prior to the game, and they're still third this week because, they had the ball on the final possession, and they were, obviously it's hard to score on a Hail Mary, but they threw a Hail Mary up into the end zone, and, so Macaulay was hanging on for dear life against MUS. I really like what they're doing with Brandon Nicholson on offense. Coach Alston told me in the preseason they would use Brandon some at wide receiver in an effort to get some more explosiveness, and he had 3 touchdown catches last week. Brady Hughes, the quarterback I mentioned, over 300 yards last week. Mekhi Shaw continues to play well. And, of course, Eli, like you said, Ridgeway makes the short trip over. Yep. And Ridgeway is winless. So, I expect MUS to pick up the victory tonight and, kind of continue to make that push in Division II AAA.
It's the battle for the Ridgeway Taco Bell.
It is
Ridgeway and MUS.
It is really, and you can.
Do they walk across, or do they bus?
They do walk across.
Okay.
No, they just bop on across the street. I mean, it's. I mean,
they have to dodge traffic. They stop traffic.
And you guys are golfers, right? I mean, it's basically like 2 or 3 good golf shots from MUS to Ridgeway.
Oh,
right?
it's close.
It's nothing.
It's not even.
Yeah.
It is nothing.
So they just gather the pads and we're going to wander on over, play a little football, and head on back.
You mentioned McCauley. I get to see the other Chattanooga team tonight in Baylor, who is. Their offense is as talented maybe as anyone I'll ever see. They've got quarterback going to Vanderbilt, receiver going to Alabama, tight end going to Ohio State.
Jeez.
And another receiver who's only a junior who's got offers from everybody in the country at this point. Those
huge challenge for the brothers.
What those Chattanooga schools are doing, like those teams are just absolutely loaded.
Well, and I don't want to get anybody here in trouble, but it would be really kind of funny if the world famous Christian Brothers band struck up a rendition of "O Canada" tonight.
In honor of Eli?
In addition to in honor of Baylor.
Their team, they are truly an international team. It is.
Well, I say that because he hates Canada.
They've got Canadians all over. They've got kids from Hungary. They only have 3 starters from Chattanooga.
Wow, how about that?
It was funny last night too because last week somebody sent me a picture of the MUS student section in against McCauley, and there was a maple leaf on display too. So
lots of Canadian influence.
I normally don't condone that kind of behavior, but in these circumstances, I can certainly understand it.
Eli's least favorite Memphis Tiger is Canton Arku because he's from Canada.
Oh, that guy played well last night.
No, he's a great player. Yeah. I'm just kidding. But all right, I want to go rapid fire here. We don't have a lot of time. Front row Jay, who loves this segment.
Thank you, Jay.
I appreciate
kind words.
Real quickly, will Arlington give Collierville a game?
Ooh, they're going to have to play, Jay, much better than they did last week against Bartlett. I mean, Bartlett, kind of laid a heavy result on them last week, so they're going to have to play better. Collierville's really good, Jay, and with Aiden Glover, who's committed to Missouri, incidentally, and Joakim Dotson and Logan Johns at running back, Martez Carter at wide receiver. They've got some good weapons on offense, so it's going to be tough for Arlington.
Melrose Wooddale tonight at halftime. There's going to be a balloon release in memory of Charles Granbury. They call him Too Short. Another tragic loss. We've lost a lot of young athletes over the last year or so here in Memphis. They will honor his memory tonight.
Well, in Memphis and people with, Memphis connections,
right.
like Wes Smith, the young man down
Tragic.
at Texas Christian a couple of weeks ago, and Devin Chandler at Arlington. Yeah, it's very sad. So it's nice what Coach Bobo and the coaching staff at Melrose has put together for tonight. Region game for Melrose, and I expect them to handle their business tonight against a Wooddale team, which I believe is winless as well.
And one note from the basketball world. The former head coach at BTW, now the former head coach because he has taken the Lemoyne Owen job. That's Antonio Harris. He replaced Fred Horton in 2013. Did a nice job with BTW. Now replaces Bonzi Wells after Wells coached 2 years with the Magicians. So Antonio Harris to Lemoyne Owen. Any idea who could possibly follow him at BTW? And what do you think about the hiring by the Magicians of Antonio Harris?
Well, a lot of those high school coaching vacancies are, decided by principals and what they need in terms of teaching and things like that. So it's always kind of hard to project. But but one thing about Coach Harris, I remember, a couple of years ago when Coach Jerry Johnson passed away, the legendary Lemoyne Owen coach. I interviewed Coach Harris as part of my story because he played for Coach Johnson. And he kind of, he told me that, he essentially grew up in the neighborhood across the street from Lemoyne Owen. He played at Lemoyne Owen, and he told me, he would practice one-on-one with his teammates after practice. And then after the one-on-one game was over, he would, he's the best player on the team, and he would kind of instruct instruct his teammates and say, hey, you're doing this right, you're doing this wrong. And Jerry Johnson would kind of sit back and watch all that and say, and at one point, Coach Johnson pulled Coach Harris aside and he said, Harris, you'll make a good coach one day. And subsequently, Antonio Harris did coach at BTW. He took them to 3 state tournaments, and now he's graduated to coach his other alma mater, Lemoyne. So
it's a good story.
I think that's a good hire. He's a fine coach, and it's almost like he's kind of been destined for this job because he's just the whole product.
Full
of that.
cycle.
Yeah, BTW.
Or circle, rather.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So,
all right, JB.
yeah, congrats to him, and I think it's a good hire, and go Magicians.
All right, look for John tonight at North Point.
Yeah, look for me. I may even break down and have a world famous Trojan burger because
Trojan
burger. It's a good burger. This Trojan burger.
I'm intrigued. I want a Trojan burger now.
Well,
it's a thin burger.
Well, in fairness, it's not a whole lot different from, let's say, a Red Devil burger or an Owl burger.
So they're not. This isn't like some special little thing.
It's all grade A meat, isn't
Tiger
it?
burger, but it does hit the spot. I've been.
Hey, Zach, you licking your chops over there? All this talk about burgers?
I just didn't know if maybe they were known for their burgers down there. I didn't know.
Well, they are kind of known for them, and it's a good burger. I don't mean to disparage it because I've enjoyed. One or two at the baseball games down there at North Point. So
there you go, brother. Eating them out of house and home back in the day.
So depending on how
they give those to you for free. Do you get the burgers for free? Do you get the Trojan burger for free?
Well, what do you think, Mr. Eli?
I hope they do.
Yeah, of course.
Back in the day in radio, we called that payola.
They're good people down at North Point.
No wonder you're going to North Point tonight.
Tell North Point to get some veggie burgers on that.
Yeah, he wants a veggie burger. Bring him back a veggie. The world famous veggie burger
tonight. Heck with it. I might head down. Now you got me intrigued by the Trojan burger.
Come on down. Bring Zach. I'm sure they can whip up some
veggie burger,
some fries or something.
Fries.
Good people down there. They're really nice folks. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game.
Well, speaking of food, East Coast Wings and Grill. I was there for lunch yesterday. They don't have the Trojan burger, but they do have good burgers. They got really good burgers at East Coast Wings. Of course, they got great wings as well. 60 different flavors to choose from. I ate lunch there, and then last night at the game, I saw Tim, the owner of East Coast Wings and Grill. I had a good time with him. 60 flavors of wings to choose from, 24 draft beers on tap, all kinds of other great food on the menu. 3:30 until 6:30 is happy hour Monday through Friday with 2-for-1 beers that you can take advantage of, plus many other specials as well. And, of course, plenty of TVs to watch all of the games. So this Saturday, if you're not heading to a game, get over to East Coast Wings and Grill and watch all of the action. Of course, Sunday as well with NFL football. Whenever the games are on, they've got them on there at East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64 between Lowe's and Walmart on Kate Hyde Boulevard. Great food, great drinks, great people. Go check them out at East Coast Wings and Grill.
All right, when we come back, hour number 2, we'll get back into the Tigers and Navy with Memphis winning last night 28-24. Your thoughts? We'll take your calls and texts. Plus, the deal in Oxford as Ole Miss gets ready to host Georgia Tech out of seemingly nowhere. Now, maybe the folks down there knew this was coming. I had no idea. But Lane Kiffin and the school is being sued by a former player. We will talk about that. Plus, Deion Sanders and what Coach Prime had to say about some thoughts that Jay Norvell told the Colorado State media, assembled media. Let's just say Coach Prime not too happy. We'll talk about that in hour 2. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Country music singer-songwriter Kylie Morgan absolutely loves her Genesis diamond ring.
I got so many compliments as soon as I got the ring and continue to get compliments on it, because it looks really pretty on my finger.
Kylie's husband Jay heard folks in the music industry raving about Genesis, but he also did a lot of homework on his own.
When it came to finding the ring, he took it very seriously. He did all the research. I think he knows more about diamonds than any man in the entire world, and that's how he landed on Genesis. He just knew that they were the best.
Jay Jay picked out a stunning, flawless, pear-shaped diamond in an elegant setting. Got the value price Genesis is known for. And now they both tell everyone they meet about the amazing Genesis experience.
When you walk into Genesis, you can just feel the happiness. You know that they're helping find something that symbolizes the love that you have for your partner, and you can feel that as soon as you walk through the door.
Always been you, and I've always been your wife.
Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Purple Wave Auction understands that it takes the right equipment to maximize profits in the field. That equipment is up for auction every week at purplewave.com. Bid on hundreds of items from John Deere, Kubota, Case IH, and more. Our marketplace transparency makes bidding on those tractors, balers, and sprayers safe and easy. Equipment sells to the highest bidder regardless of price. Get started now at purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Fall time, game time, food time, fun time. It's all Dave and Buster's time. Watch the game at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway, and get $4 pints all day, every day. Plus $5 appetizer bites all day, every day. Join the fun and games after 4 p.m. every Monday and Thursday and get all-you-can-eat wings. All at Dave & Buster's, 2751 Wolf Creek Parkway. Fall is here, and that means games, food, and fun at Dave & Buster's.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating, now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30,445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31,385. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and licensee. Dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawald Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawald is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Still working accident on Mount Moriah at Quince. That's Mount Moriah at Quince. New accident on Getwell South at Lamar. That's Getwell at Lamar. Accident on Wells Station at Gray. I-40 West at I-240. Sam Cooper, the right shoulder is blocked there. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:05 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy
And Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale, continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program brought to you each and every day by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Each Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know? University of Memphis Tigers football coach Ryan Silverfield is now 18-4 at home since taking over as head coach. And the Tigers as a whole are 43-7 at home since Ryan Silverfield joined the staff in 2016. That's an .860 winning percentage. If you're looking for that special engagement ring, wedding rings of all types, personally designed wedding sets, James Gaddis Jewelers is the place for you. But also for watches of all types, bracelets and necklaces, gemstones, earrings and pendants, plus custom-made jewelry and estate and vintage jewelry. It's James Gaddis Jewelers. You want to sell your diamonds, your gold, your silver? Yep, James Gaddis Jewelers. You need something appraised. James is a certified appraiser, so head on over to James Gaddis Jewelers. They have 2 repair experts to help you with your fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing always available at James Gaddis Jewelers.
Got a lot of texts here we'll get to on the Tigers, but we do have a text from Joe, first of all, who texts in, whose father-in-law is an assistant coach at North Point. He says the Trojan burger is, in fact, special. It's elite, he says. So John kind of undersold the Trojan burger. He started selling it, then he kind of undersold it. According to Joe, this is an elite burger.
Elite burger? I'll be the judge of that. I expect a couple of them. Well, if we had the midday show, it would be different. Can't get the burgers now. But, yeah, I'd love to try out the elite Trojan burger.
Head to North Point.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Terps are on tonight. Unless somebody has a big screen.
I would head to North Point.
What? What do you mean? What are you saying here? All right.
I'd rather watch the Trojan and enjoy a burger than watch that Maryland stuff.
Oh, be quiet. Let's get to these texts, and if you want to call in as well, 360-8255. Then I want to get into this Ole Miss story that's going on, plus what Jay Norvell had to say. We already talked about that yesterday, but the retort from Coach Prime, it's just perfect Deion Sanders. We'll get to all that coming up. Plus, we'll look at the NFL game from last night with the Philadelphia Eagles knocking off the Minnesota Vikings.
Ron texts in, says Memphis played a decent team and did not look good. Raider Corey texts in, says, woo boy. First off, why in the heck is there a mayoral debate on the University of Memphis campus while the football team is hosting Navy on ESPN? That I do not know. That one I did not have a clue that was going on. That is very bizarre to me, but
how many candidates debated, I wonder?
I have no idea.
Zach, are you a candidate, by the way?
I mean,
you may be the only one that's,
once I move back to Memphis, in the city, I think I can be a candidate.
Yes, I think there's like 75 people running for mayor, right?
Yeah,
wonder how many debated last night.
But that is very strange to have a debate on
I didn't
campus
even realize
while the football team is playing a game. Like, that's strange. I don't know. I guess I don't know when this was all scheduled, but whatever. That is very strange. He says, I know a win is a win, and we're 3-0 to begin the season. But come on, that was not a good showing attendance-wise. Just north of 25,000 at the game, and barely won by a nose of the football, literally, but we were loud. Third, on a good note, Blake Watson is an NFL running back who reminds me of Antonio Gibson. On to St. Louis with some momentum and confidence. Go Tigers. The attendance, they announced 25,551 was the announced attendance last night.
I think that was fairly accurate, but I don't know anymore. I don't know. They're not scanning all the tickets. They never seem to do so. I don't know what's accurate anymore. I know they announced about the same for Bethune-Cookman. I thought that was lower than what was announced. This one looked to me like there was a lot more people than there was for the Bethune-Cookman game. But again, that's just me on the sideline looking up at the stands. It just seemed like there was more. I have no idea. I don't even want to guess anymore as far as attendance is concerned.
Yeah, I don't. It was kind of the crowd I would have expected on a Thursday night. Like, they're not going to draw 35,000 on a Thursday night. I mean, even with perfect weather, it just kind of is what it is.
Look, here's the thing, and I tweeted this out earlier today. It's kind of the chicken and the egg type thing. If Memphis was playing in a power conference, and let's just say they were playing in the ACC, and you were playing the likes of North Carolina and Miami and Clemson and Florida State, you wouldn't get all of them at home. But even North Carolina State and Virginia and Duke and different schools that you haven't seen, maybe not on a Thursday night, although I think the crowd would be better. I think you would consistently get between 35 and 45,000. And then depending on what team they play and how many people travel for that team, even more. I know they would. But because of the schedule they have now, because of the teams they play, this is what you're getting. And so for people to think that, well, if they get 40,000 consistently, they're going to be in a power conference. There's so many variables that go into that decision making. It doesn't hurt to have a packed crowd. But what hurts you is this cavernous stadium that you are in. And so 25,000 looks like nobody's there. Plus, and I don't want to go down this road again, it will be fixed when the renovations happen. But the cameras are facing the visiting side and not the home side. It would look a lot better if they were facing the home side. And they will eventually.
Reggie Texas says, why do coaches that trust their defense go for 50-plus yard field goals rather than punt the ball and help the defense by pushing the opposing team back to give the defense more opportunities to get the turnover or play better field position?
They thought the kid could make it.
Yeah, it's about trusting your kicker. It's not about necessarily trusting your defense, it's about trusting your kicker. And it's a chance for points. I mean, points are points. And if you think your kicker has the ability to knock in that 50-yard field goal, you give him that opportunity. Now, the one last night wasn't even close.
No, he was way wide. Look, it wasn't a 65-yard attempt here. It wasn't one of those, a thought and a prayer. This was a 50-yard field goal. And most kickers have the leg to make 50-yarders. He just didn't make it.
Brad says, so was it the play or not play of the year in the second quarter where the quarterback, center, and wide receiver were the only three that moved and was an incomplete pass on third down? Announcers kept asking, where's the flags? Offense, defense, nothing but 3 and out. It was funny, but okay. Yeah, I still didn't. I saw the play and I didn't understand what happened.
Yeah, so, I didn't ask Ryan after the game, and I should have. But somebody texted me this morning as I was going to work, and they said, let me find this. They were asking me, any idea what the surprise was that Ryan was talking about? Remember that he said on the coach's show that there was going to be a surprise. I think that was the surprise. It was a weird play trying to catch everybody off guard, and it didn't work. I can only guess that was it, because I don't know what else would have been surprising.
Yeah, I don't. That was a weird play. I don't.
Throw that one away.
I'm not exactly sure what the theory that goes into that play was, but nonetheless, it did not work. It did not work well at all. It was a very poor result.
You live and you learn.
But it did give the offensive line a rest for that play. They got to play off. Now then they got a lot of plays off after that because they then left the field right after that because it didn't work on the third down.
You're trying to outsmart or outmaneuver the Naval Academy.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. That one I would probably scratch that one from the old play sheet.
Yeah.
We'll revisit this maybe in the distant future.
If they pulled that one off, I'd worry about the safety of our country.
Somebody else says the offensive line is not very good. They're going to get Seth hurt.
That seems to be a recurring question and statement every single year.
But I thought the line did a decent job. It's just, they were sending an extra man, so it was an unblocked,
They almost got him killed on the one play last night.
Yeah, he got the air knocked out of him, the wind knocked out of him. But I thought the first half they were getting manhandled. I thought in the second half they did a better job. But, people will look and go, Watson went crazy. That had to be the offensive line. And he credited the offensive line when we talked to him after the game. But that was Watson doing a lot of things with his feet. He's got great feet. He was shifty. He was nimble. He got to the outside. You get to the outside on Navy, you got a chance to be really, really good and effective. You try to go inside the tackles, it's kind of tough against them. But, yeah, I think they got better in the second half. But the problem for Memphis with their offensive linemen, is their tackles. The interior line, they feel really good about, the center and the two guards.
Another texter says one thing. The Tigers had a short week to prepare for a pretty difficult offense. At the end of the day, the Tigers came out on top. If I have to complain about anything, it would be open up the offense a little bit.
So that's the bottom line. They won the game.
Well, the thing, I know, especially early in the game, fans were. But that first drive of the game, they dinked and dunked their way right down the field to an easy touchdown.
Navy had to have adjusted after that because it was a whole different ballgame until that final drive on the shortened field to end the first half.
And then when they opened up, or it took a shot late in the game, when many people say you maybe shouldn't be, Seth Hennigan threw a terrible interception.
Right.
So that they opened up the offense there, and it led to an interception that could have cost them the game when he had an opportunity to find a different one. But, again, they won the game. But it's... I'm just not going to feel better about their chances against Missouri, Boise, and especially Tulane based on last night's performance.
Yeah, look, if they go into the Dome in St. Louis and get clobbered like Missouri did to Memphis several years ago, then you got to be concerned about the rest of the season, Boise coming in, American Conference play against some of the better teams like Tulane and SMU. If they can battle, even if they come up with an L, this next 3 games, it's murderer's row for them. You have, obviously, Missouri, Boise, and then Tulane. If you can win 2 of those 3, you're in really good shape, especially if they're the conference wins.
The person who brought up the offensive line, I have very little faith in their offensive line's ability against Tulane's defensive front.
Yeah,
I don't know about Missouri what their defensive front is, but from what I saw Tulane do to Ole Miss's offensive line, I don't have a whole lot of faith in this offensive line being able to hold up front against Tulane. They're gonna have to do some things there.
Mm-hmm.
Too Smooth says, will someone please tell the receivers when catching the ball to go forward and not 10 yards backwards?
Yes, the first move is to go backwards.
Yeah, the one, who was it that gave up the first down? Somebody had a first
Blankensee.
down. Yeah, had the first down and just kept going backwards. I'm like...
I mean, Skates did it earlier, too.
You got to know where you are. Like, if it's a third down play, you got a first down, just take the first down. You don't need to try and break something for a touchdown. Take the first down and move along.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, that one, there was a couple of those, no doubt about that. Another texter says, Hennigan has so little trust in the line, he hardly looks at the left side of the field. He's just trying to get rid of the ball. Well, I mean, it's... If you feel like you're going to be under pressure, you better get rid of the ball as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah, he had to run the ball, and I wondered this year if he'd be running the ball as much as he did as last year, and it seems like that is the case. He was successful last night, but boy, that hit that you talked about earlier that he took, wow. Talk about waking up, knocking out the cobwebs.
That dude was bearing down on him, and I was like, oh, gosh, this is not going to be good. And he just took a shot.
But he's a tough guy. He stayed in the pocket, waited for that last second, and Lanphier was able to get open, and he hit the tight end. That's a bright sign that Lanphier is proving that he has good hands and has done a really nice job in replacing a great tight end in Caden Prieskorn.
Tony says, Silverfield is our football Josh Pastner. The Tigers will not draw until he is gone. Listen, I know there's a lot of folks, a lot of fans who don't like Ryan Silverfield. Like, he's still going to have to win them over. Obviously, when you hear boo birds in your home stadium in the first quarter or second quarter of a game, like that's not good for a head coach. But again, they are 3-0. If they win 10 games this year, maybe that will win some people over. But I know that, yes, there are a lot of people who are not won over to this point by Ryan Silverfield.
But let's not make it seem that if, Willie Fritz was the coach, there would be 45,000 last night at the stadium. They're not coming for the coach or staying home because of the coach, especially a team that went into the game last night 2-0 on a beautiful night, absolutely perfect Chamber of Commerce weather, and that's the crowd you got. Those are the diehards. Keith is dialed in. It's on the Sports 56 listener lines, 901-360-8255. Hello, Keith.
Hey, Greg, Eli, Zach. Good to hear y'all today.
Yeah, how you doing?
All right. I know it's a late night. Golly, Bill, talk about helter-skelter in the last few minutes. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
It's a wild game.
You should have heard Jarvo.
I heard him.
I knew what You did hear
I'm on
him?
the broadcast. Remember, I do the sideline reporting.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Jarvo was like, no, there ain't no way that's a first down. There ain't no way. He was coming unglued, but he did a good job. He did a real good job. And shout out to Jarvo. He's like a legend in Memphis sports. And but no, absolutely, they should have done 3 quarterback sneaks on that goal line. I mean, done 3 of them. Wasn't it first and goal?
Yes.
Yeah, on the fumble by Watson. Yeah. That's why I was thinking. Hindsight's 20/20, but he was successful already with a sneak for a touchdown. He had the bootleg for the touchdown. Why not another one?
Well, and I realized Hennigan got hurt earlier. Maybe they were trying to protect him. You know what I'm saying?
I think they were trying to reward Watson, to be honest with you, after that long run.
They were handing off the football. Like, this isn't a real complicated play. They ran the ball. They handed it off 20 times in the game. 19 of those times were very successful.
Right, but they also ran it. They also ran a sneak that was a touchdown and had success too. With the push that they get from Chisholm as a fullback, they could have easily did that as well. No, I hear you, Keith. I'm with Keith on this one. Thank you, my friend.
Well, hold on. And that crazy pass right after the Navy turnover after that. Why don't you run the ball there? Give it to Watson again. I mean, like on
you talking about on the interception?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then people would have complained that they were too conservative. Like they complained the last drive. He threw the ball. That was his mistake. That wasn't a crazy pass. He threw to the wrong guy. He had a guy that was wide open. He threw the guy that was covered, and he undercut it. The defensive back. He made a good play. All right, Keith. Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. How's Keith not realize I'm the guy talking? that whole thing was me.
You're 2 different people, man.
You got Jarvo, and I'm the one. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway, any more texts?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. One says, I am glad the Tigers won. However, get rid of the football pants the Tigers were wearing last night. What pants were there? What was the uniform last night? I don't remember what the uniform was now.
I don't even, that was so, not in my mind that I don't even recall.
I don't remember what they were wearing last night, uniform-wise. Were they blue? Were they wearing blue tops?
Were they wearing khakis last night?
Gray pants?
Cargo shorts? They must have been cargo shorts.
With the blue shirts?
Who cares?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know.
Who the hell cares?
I got them on there.
Pants they were wearing.
What would be wrong with the pants if they're gray?
Some people complain about the helmets. Okay, all right, I'll give them that. The pants?
My pants are gray right now, and I got a blue shirt on. Do I need to go home and change?
Are they football pants? if you showed up in football pants, that would be awesome. Reggie says, Greg, you're wrong. Fans do come for the coach of the team, a.k.a. Colorado.
He's an exception to the rule, no question about it. But Colorado, I don't know what they drew before, even with a bad team. Obviously, they're drawing incredibly well. But if you think a middle of the road, middle of the pack, nonchalant head coach name will get 20 more thousand people in the stands, you're out of your mind.
Well, no, I don't think the point isn't just you hire that coach and people are going to show up. The point would
winning.
Be you're going to be winning more. And so if you have a ranked team, those people will come.
Yeah, I know, but I just gave you the Silverfield numbers. He's 18-4 at home.
But they're not ranked. They're not a ranked team.
No, I understand. And that original text, I completely understand where they were going. But I'm just saying, if you just on the surface look at that statement that was made was you change the coach and they're going to get a bigger crowd. That's not the case. I give that texter this texter credit because they're right. Coach Prime is an anomaly, and I think we can all agree on that. You are not going to name 90% of the coaches. Obviously, Nick Saban's going to fire up, right? There's going to be a few of those. But 90% of the coaches that you bring in, all of a sudden people aren't going to be 25,000 more. I mean, the crowds aren't better for Memphis basketball, and you got Penny Hardaway, for goodness sakes.
No, again, that's the thing. It's about winning.
It's right. It's a combination of
things. Like when Mike Norvell and that team was really good, they drew more people because they were winning.
But first game, they won one game, Colorado, under Prime, and then they sold out the place for game 2. So yes, it's winning track record. They have one win.
Memphis. I don't think anybody's saying that you change the coach magically people are going to show up. The
that's what somebody said.
If you change the coach, you're going to win They feel like they would win better with a better coach.
That I
and
understand.
If you do that, then you'll draw more people.
I understand, but that's what I'm taking that verbatim. That's what it was said. What it was said was you change the coach, right? You got to change the coach. You got to change everything. You obviously got to win at a high rate. Then, yes, I completely understand. It's just like I said. If Memphis right now was, I don't care if Memphis was 500 or a little bit above 500. If they were playing right now in a power conference, those crowds would be 10,000 more per game. I am sold on that. If they were playing, and here comes Florida State, here comes Clemson, NC State, North Carolina, Miami, as opposed to Bethune-Cookman, I guarantee you 25 would turn into 35 at a drop of a hat. And then if you win big, you're talking 45, 50,000 people. Memphis has the people. It's a big enough city. But they're tired of watching East Carolina and the likes. Now, they win against Missouri in St. Louis. That Boise State game should bring in, I would have to think, 35,000, 10,000 more than what we've seen. And again, when you look at a normal stadium on campus, not a big cavernous stadium like Michigan, the Big House, I'm talking about a normal school would have a 30,000, 35,000, 40,000 seat stadium. It would be packed. But even 35,000 at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium looks like there's nobody there. That's the problem.
Dwayne says, Tigers are playing too many running backs. Give Watson the job and about 20 carries a game. Let's see what happens. I would agree. Now, he did end up with, 16 touches because he had the 6 receptions.
Yeah. They played 3 running backs last night. Watson had 10 carries. Sutton Smith and Jay Ducker only had 4 carries each. You got to give him a breather. So I thought it was fine. They gave Watson, he could have had more carries. And like you said, he had 6 receptions on 6 targets. He caught the ball every single time. So he was the featured back last night. Nothing wrong with that. Hennigan had 11 carries, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, I've talked about it many times. I want a guy I would love to, and Blake Watson clearly looks like the guy. So, yes, I'm all for him being your main guy. Get him the ball as much as you possibly can. He should be the focal point of this offense.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, a great option for lunch today, for dinner tonight. Bring it home to the family. Head on out to one of their 4 locations for that delicious slow-smoked barbecue. Been serving it up for about 4 decades now, and they will cater anything you got coming up in your life. They will cater that event, and they'll start you out as low as $8.99 per person. They've been catering as long as they've been around. Party packs start at just $7.49. Lunch specials every single day. You get out a third of a rack of ribs for $6.99 when you purchase an entree, including that delicious barbecue and the award-winning catfish plate, just to name a few of their entrees. They are located at Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Don't forget about their private party room at the Cordova and Olive Branch locations. Just give them a call and reserve your day and time to use the private party room. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hey everybody, fall is happening here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevy. Not only can you get the new 2023 Silverado this week, you can get financing as low as 0 interest for 3 months with no payments. And your good credit deserves this. So come drive a Silverado or one of these new Traverses. See Kevin or Jeff if you want to do a custom order. And if you're a first responder, educator, military, recent college grad, healthcare professional, September is your month for bonus cash and more here at All-Star Chevy. Just see Kevin or Jeff, and they asked me to thank all of you who are bringing your cars and your trucks here to sell. All-Star is still paying crazy good money, and you can get a check today, even if you still owe money on it. And All-Star's certified and pre-owned selection is loaded. I see lots of Silverados, Ram trucks, here's a Denali, even a Mercedes. They're all spot on. And if you need service or maintenance, call Sean or Jeff in the All-Star Service Department. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarAutogroup.com.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Sports 56 traffic.
Still working an accident on Getwell South at Lamar. That's Getwell South at Lamar. Accident on Summer at Munson Road. That's Summer and Munson. That's your new accident at the moment. And then I-40 West at I-240, Sam Cooper. The right shoulder is blocked there. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Got a lot to get to here in a short time. I'm going to try to squeeze 10 in a row in our next segment. So if you want to play 10 in a row, stay tuned for that. Hour 3, Brandon Lang joins us, and then Chad Brown, former NFL linebacker. Melvin has dialed in on the Sports 56 listener lines. Hi, Melvin.
Come on, how you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
And, I mean, like I said, a win is a win, but not letting Blake Watson get 20 touches, it's just like, and I said this from game one. I know you could make it's like people didn't see after game one, he's the best back. Like, he made the big play. Mm-hmm. He didn't get back in with Steph ended up scoring right. Well, you get the ball, and we were backed up against our own goal line. It's full court, it's clutch. And you come out and get Jay Ducker 2 touches. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's what people want to come out and see. Go ahead, Greg.
You got to give a guy a spell every once in a while. They brought Jay in because of the bigger back. But you're right. I mean, there's no question. And they had to see this guy in action a little bit for the Tigers to obviously come to the conclusion, which I think they have, that he's got to be the featured back. So I think you're right, Melvin. But as far as Ducker had 4 carries. Sutton Smith had 4 carries. They lined Sutton Smith a lot up in the slot. You're going to see more and more Watson. There's no question about it.
Well, like I said before, he made the big run. It was a part of the game when him and Seth Hinton had 4 carries apiece. Yeah. And I know Seth took out some time, but the thing that frustrated is like, okay, like it was a play It was like 3rd-18, and he threw like a 4-yard pass when the fans booed. Like, take a shot at the end zone during the field goal. That was a bad decision. Like, it was 4 for 4. Go for it. That's all fans wants you to do. Just go for it. Excited. Then, like, at the same time, like, when Steph threw the interception, there'll be a time to be concerned. Like, we concerned, we get mad, but that's the time to be concerned. And Steph did. And I didn't think Steph was himself after the concussion when I was looking at it. I was like, man, he's not himself, but he toughed it out. And another thing, like the receiver, we need a receiver that's going to have to come to play, too. The receiving was not that good, neither. I mean, yeah, like the guy they get the first down, his guy want to run sideways. I mean, they play too much bad.
All right.
So, I mean,
I hear you. Thank you, Melvin. Yeah. I take it there was a bunch of criticism there, but yeah, I think Watson will be the featured back, but it's not like he's going to have 30 carries a game. That's not going to happen. He was talking about
there's a wide range between, 10 and 30.
Well, he had 6 catches, too. So he had 16 touches. I think he said 20 touches. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be 20 touches for the most part. He's not a big guy, by the way. He's not a real big guy. I was talking to his brother who played at Wake Forest. He was at the game, and he's shifty. Blake is shifty, and he's fast. He was talking about the Hennigan. I was trying to make out what Melvin was saying. There was a lot of background noise, but was he saying that maybe they shouldn't have thrown that pass and been a little bit more conservative there?
Yeah, you said there's a time to be conservative.
Yeah, but then people, if they had handed the ball off and went right up the middle, people would have complained that they didn't throw the ball there. I thought
if Hennigan had thrown to the right receiver, it was a touchdown. He made a bad decision.
I had no problem going
for a bad decision and a poor throw.
No problem going for a field goal. It's a 50-yard field goal. The guy has the leg. He missed it. Okay? So I have no problem going for the field goal. And I had no problem with the throw on 3rd down there late to try to put the game away. As you said, Eli, he just made the bad read and passed it to the wrong guy, threw it to the wrong guy. You think Navy fans are complaining about Newberry going for it on 4th down and getting stopped right before the half? Memphis went down, scored the touchdown, or trying the onside kick? Sometimes you got to think outside the box. I'll tell you one thing. Unless there are conservative coaches that win all the time, there's going to be a lot of criticism toward conservative coaches. I like coaches that at least are going to take some opportunities to take shots, to take chances.
Texter says a win's a win, and Navy hasn't been an easy game most of the time. But there's no doubt that Silverfield has departed from the template established by Fuente and Norvell. There's a lot of people last night. It's always hard to beat Navy. Last year was 37-13, and the year before that was 35-17.
And they've won 5 straight now.
And that was the same quarterback last night as those 2 games, where the most they scored was 17 points against. This isn't a very good Navy team.
When Navy has a dynamic quarterback like Malcolm Perry or Keenan Reynolds, they are tough to beat. When they don't have that type of quarterback and you do your job, you stay in your lanes, you're disciplined, you will beat Navy for the most part.
Let's see here. Somebody says, you're putting too much faith in a city full of people that have never supported the team. Randy says, if you build it, they will come. And I'm not talking about renovations to Simmons Bank Stadium. I'm talking about tearing it down and starting over and building something modern and with amenities for families and kids, and people will come. Look around at any new stadium that has been built in recent history, and you'll see an immediate jump in attendance.
It's not happening. To build a new stadium from scratch today, unless you're going really, really cheap, and you can't go cheap like UCF did because the labor cost, the material now is so expensive. The money that they're going to end up getting from the state and then having to raise themselves wouldn't even come close to what they would need for that. It's not happening because, first of all, you would not have a stadium for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, the Southern Heritage Classic. What are you going to do? Are you going to build it? This isn't Yankee Stadium or Citibank where they're building across in the parking lot and then they demolish the old stadium down. Where are they going to build it? Over where Binswanger Glass is? Come on. It's a daydream. It's a pipe dream to think that. And nobody better bring up an on-campus stadium again because it's not happening. Not now. Not in the near future.
Yeah, again,
just stop it.
The renovations to Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium will make a big difference. It'll be a lot nicer than what it is.
Yes.
How much that means in drawing people out there. The bottom line of this in Memphis, you're going to have to win. I don't. Everybody thought Penny Hardaway was just going to walk in and suddenly the building was going to fill up. No, you have to win. John Calipari filled the building up when he had a team ranked in the top 5 in the nation year in and year out. That's when people came to basketball games and you couldn't get a ticket.
Right.
The Grizzlies now sell a lot of tickets because they're winning. In Memphis, you have to win. If you don't, they're not going to come. Bottom line. It isn't if you build it, they will come. It's if you win, they will come.
All right, couple of things from outside of Memphis in the Tigers game with Navy. Yesterday, we talked about Jay Norvell, the Colorado State head coach. They're playing Colorado this week. They're 24-point underdogs. Jay Norvell basically taking a shot at Prime, saying that he was taught by his mother to take off his glasses and his hat when he's doing an interview or whatever he said, but basically going right at Prime because Prime keeps those glasses on and keeps the hat on, which I don't have a problem with. And, of course, Coach Prime hears about that. And one of the things he said yesterday, now it's personal. So my question to you is, why? Why Jay Norvell? Why give them more incentive? Why give them more bulletin board material? Why do you open your mouth and say something like that?
That's what he believes.
Who cares? Don't say anything.
He cares, apparently. I don't know.
Most
He cares a
coaches,
lot.
most coaches today now will be just very nice. First of all, they'll be really nice. They'll be complimentary of the opposing team, the opposing coach. Oh, they're terrific. They're well coached. They're this and that. Because they know it doesn't always mean it's going to not go your way. They are prohibitive underdogs anyway. But still, just weird that he brought that up. And then there is the story out of Oxford as the Rebels get ready for Georgia Tech. Ole Miss defensive tackle DeSanto Rollins, who said he was recently kicked off the team for missing practices and meetings during a mental health crisis, is suing the university and Coach Lane Kiffin for failure to provide equal protection, racial and sexual discrimination, and multiple other allegations, according to the lawsuit that was filed yesterday. Rollins, a backup lineman whose career has been marred by injuries, is seeking $10 million in compensatory damages and $30 million in punitive damages. The lawsuit alleges that Kiffin intentionally took adverse action against Rollins on account of race for requesting and taking a mental health break, but not taking adverse action against white student athletes for the same request. It alleges sexual discrimination on the basis that Ole Miss has not taken adverse action against female student athletes for requesting and taking a mental health break. Wow. The lawsuit was filed by the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Mississippi, Oxford Division, and this information was obtained by ESPN. There's a lot more points to this story, including some things allegedly that Lane Kiffin had said that was recorded by Rollins.
Yeah, I have no idea. In this world now, as with the mental health things and situations that we have, I have no idea. Lane's point in the recordings were that he kept refusing to meet with Lane Kiffin, saying he wasn't ready to. And Lane's point is, whether that's the case or not, if your boss asks to meet with you, you meet with them. I don't know. I have no idea where this thing will go.
Yeah.
I couldn't even guess.
Yeah, Lane was saying that he was trying to talk to him, trying to get him to meet. The guy refused. He didn't go to meetings. He didn't do this. But the guy's basically saying that he had a mental breakdown. It was an issue. It was a crisis. And they should have been more aware of his situation. And some of the things that were said, again, according to this story, reportedly taped by the young man, was, let me see, jump in here. Kiffin said, yeah, I was here. I set up these meetings to talk to you and explain to you in the real world, okay? So I don't give an F what your mom say, okay? Or what you think in the real effing world. You show up to work and then you say, hey, I have mental issues. I can't do anything for 2 weeks. But if you change my position, I won't have mental issues. I guarantee if we effing called you in and said you're playing defense, would you have mental issues? So he's basically coming back and saying that it's more because he didn't get to change positions. I guess he wanted to change positions, or he wasn't getting playing time, or what have you, or he was low in the depth chart, and that he used that as a crutch. So this is
they changed his position from defense to
okay,
offense.
whatever the case is.
He
but
didn't want to do that.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to this story that just came out yesterday, but I guess has been out there for a while internally at Ole Miss. All right, we'll take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to squeeze in 10 in a row. If you'd like to play, you have to jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. We'll only have a few minutes when we return 10 in a row. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See deal for complete details, offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
7. 12. What are we playing? Central Barbecue has 7 different kinds of sandwiches. Okay, does that seem like a lot? Are you kidding? 7 may be the most perfect amount of sandwiches. See, they get the pulled pork. You can get chopped on request. Then trim sliced beef brisket sandwich. There's 2 right there. I'm not sure exactly. Look, you've also got the pulled chicken, the smoked turkey, the marinated portobello mushroom sandwich. That seems like plenty. You would think, but then you also got the smoked sausage and the barbecue bologna sandwich. You're right. 7 may be the perfect amount of sandwiches. The people at Central Barbecue are genius.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Coming up in hour 3, Brandon Lang will handicap some college football and NFL, so make sure you hide the kids. And then Chad Brown at 9:30, the former two-time All-Pro NFL linebacker and University of Colorado star on Coach Prime and on the National Football League, as we are now into week 2. Talk in a moment a little bit about the Eagles and the Vikings game from last night. That was a shootout. But right now, time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
All right, folks, basically have about 5 minutes. So jump on the Sports 56 listener lines right now at 901-360-8255. What's the prize package?
Got $25 to East Coast Wings and Grill, $50 to 117 Prime downtown, and a couple of Malco movie passes.
All right, I don't think it's a hard question. College football coaches who are in their first season with their school. So it's not just their first season as a college coach. They are in their first season with their school. Pretty simple, right? Like if I said Ryan Silverfield, the answer would be?
That'd be a no.
That'd be a no. 360-82. If I said Lane Kiffin.
If you said Brian Newberry, though, from last night, you would say it'd be a yes.
Exactly. It's that simple. College football coaches who are in their first season with their school. 360-8255. If you'd like to play 10 in a row.
First season as head coach with their school.
Yeah, head coach. College football head coaches who are in their first season with their school. 360-8255 if you'd like to participate. If you don't, that's fine. Eli and myself and Zach will just split up the prizes and keep them for ourselves. While you're deciding whether or not to participate, I want to talk a little bit about last night's Thursday night game. We had it for you on Sports 56. I didn't see 1 second of it, obviously, as I was at the game, and I don't know if you saw any of it, Eli, but Philadelphia, 2-0, second straight year that they've started the season 2-0. Good things happened to them last year. Meanwhile, Minnesota with the loss, they dropped to 0-2. Jalen Hurts, 18 of 23, $193, a touchdown, 1 pick, 12 rushes, 35 yards, and 2 touchdowns, doing what Jalen Hurts does, although apparently A.J. Brown wasn't happy.
No, wanted the ball more. Every receiver always wants the ball more.
Isn't it
I
amazing?
don't think any receiver's ever happy with how often they get the ball. Because the problem is receivers, especially the good ones, they believe they're open on every play.
They do.
They don't think they're ever guarded. So they believe you should throw it to them on every play because they're open. But DeAndre Swift, hell of a game last night for the Eagles, so we'll see what happens when Kenny Gainwell comes back in that backfield. But Swift was absolutely fantastic with 175 yards last night. That's what the Eagles want to do in the end, is they want to run the football. And Swift was a big part of that with Jalen Hurts last night.
That offensive line is tremendous. And, yeah, with Kenny Gainwell, who didn't have a bad game the first game of the year, and they say you usually don't lose a job because of injury. He was out with a rib injury. But I don't know. With Swift going for 175, at least you're going to see split carries, I would imagine, for both Gainwell and Swift, and that's assuming that Gainwell can come back for week number 3. Kirk Cousins, Minnesota quarterback, 31 of 44, 364, and 4 touchdowns for Kirk Cousins. Eagles winning 34-28. All right, so again, the question, college football head coaches who are in their first season with their school. Got 3 minutes, 360-8255. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Alrighty, let's see what Jay can do. What's up, Jay?
Hi, Jay.
Hey, guys.
Luke Fickell.
Yes.
Jeff Traylor.
No.
Pat Narduzzi.
No.
Neil Brown.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
360-8255. Got an oh my gosh on Neil Brown.
Oh my gosh is not one of the possible answers.
No, I was going to use him, but I did not.
360-8255. Again, $25 East Coast Wings, $50 to 117 Prime, and a couple of Malco movie passes. Mario, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Greg and Eli?
Hey, Mario. Didn't you win 2 weeks ago?
No, it's been about 2 months ago. I've been calling, but I've been losing.
Okay. Well, you're a winner in our book. You know that.
No, you're
not. Oh, well, I appreciate it, Greg. See, Eli wouldn't have said this.
No, you just said that, too.
He kick a man while he's down.
All right, here we go. College football
it's the
head
easiest
coaches
time to kick him, quite frankly,
who are in their first season with their school. Trent Dilfer.
Yes.
Brent Key.
Yes.
Tom Allen.
No.
Jamie Chadwell.
Yes.
Brian Newberry.
Yes.
Tyson Helton.
No.
Kenny Dillingham.
Yes.
Ryan Walters.
Yes.
Tim Beck.
No.
Ah, man, what a run. You still going to call Mario a loser?
Did he win?
I knew you were going to say it.
I mean, if you don't win, you lost.
One more minute. 360-8255. Sorry, everything was so condensed today because we do have the guests at 9 and 9:30. We don't have time for the third hour, 10 in a row, which is our normal time slot. So if you want to participate here, again, just right now, need to call 360-8255. College football coaches who are in their first season with their school. I was rooting for Mario. I thought we might get a winner. It looks like we're not going to have any more participants. So he got all the way down to Tim Beck, and that is a yes. And the last one, Scott Satterfield.
No.
Yes. Went to Cincinnati. Replaced Luke
that's
Fickle.
right.
Left Louisville. First list, Luke Fickle was a yes. Jeff Traylor, a no. Pat Narduzzi, a no. Jay messed up on Neil Brown. Neil Brown is a?
He is a no.
He's a no. Marcus Freeman.
That's a no.
Jeff Brom.
That's a yes.
That's a yes. Hugh Freeze.
That's a yes.
Jim McElwain.
It's a no.
Tom Herman.
That's a yes.
Lincoln Riley.
That's a no.
There you go. It wasn't a real hard question. It just we didn't have a lot of time for our listeners. Sorry about that, folks. But next week, we'll be back with another 10 in a row. We need to take a timeout. When we come back, it is hour 3. It is time for the one and only Brandon. Oh, by the way, I'm flipping around on Netflix and like what pops up? 2 for the Money. His movie. Didn't watch it. Brandon Lang is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56, real sports talk.
Hey everybody, fall is happening here in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevy. Not only can you get the new 2023 Silverado this week, you can get financing as low as 0 interest for 3 months with no payments. And your good credit deserves this. So come drive a Silverado or one of these new Traverses. See Kevin or Jeff if you want to do a custom order. And if you're a first responder, educator, military, recent college grad, healthcare professional, September is your month for bonus cash and more here at All-Star Chevy. Just see Kevin or Jeff, and they asked me to thank all of you who are bringing your cars and your trucks here to sell. All-Star is still paying crazy good money, and you can get a check today, even if you still owe money on it. And All-Star's certified and pre-owned selection is loaded. I see lots of Silverados, Ram trucks, here's a Denali, even a Mercedes. They're all spot on. And if you need service or maintenance, call Sean or Jeff in the All-Star Service Department. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, not Mount Moriah or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Still working accident on Summer at Munson Road. That's Summer at Munson. A couple of new accidents on the roadways. Thomas at Marsh. That's Thomas at Marsh Road. Accident on Democrat Road east at Rental Road. That's near the airport. And then Getwell South at Lamar. That's one of our older accidents this morning. That's Getwell South at Lamar. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Witness the power.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Final hour for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. It has been a busy week, but a quick week. It's rolled by very quickly as we get you set for the sports weekend. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We're in the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40, the world's biggest spa sale continues. Check them out this weekend. Currently 67 degrees and sunny. Man, that's beautiful weather. We're looking at a high today of 84. Tonight, clear skies with a low of 62. Then tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high of 86 to get your Saturday off and rolling. Beautiful, beautiful weather here in the Mid-South.
I will say that last night's weather for the game was literally the perfect weather for a football game.
I agree.
I do not believe you can get better weather than what last night was and what tonight's going to be for high school football. Like, it is literally perfect. It is not hot. It is not cold. It is literally just the perfect spot temperature-wise.
I think the weather gods are paying me back for a rough 2022 season when I sat out there on the sidelines in a couple of storms. There were also a couple of games where it was so putrid hot. Now, I don't want to count my chickens here because I still think that we have that big old humid week coming up. I hope it won't be here for Boise, and maybe we won't get it at all, but I still feel that will happen. Of course, next week in St. Louis, we don't have to worry about anything. It'll be 72 degrees as we are inside the dome. But you are absolutely right. That was about as nice weather that you will ever face.
A hot, humid day might not be a bad thing against Boise.
Yeah, for the team, it might be good. But I prefer, and I'm selfish.
Get those, start sweating that potato juice out. It's tough to play. Starches are just rolling out.
No question about it. Aaron Rodgers had his Achilles surgery. If you missed it, he said it went great, and he's on the road to recovery.
I would hope so. Hope right after surgery you're on the road to recovery. If you're not, that's a bad surgery.
Have you ever heard like the surgery went horrible with an athlete? You never hear that, right? There were complications.
They generally have pretty good doctors performing those surgeries on those guys.
We lost Aaron's big toe.
They generally don't die during those operations, so that's
generally.
So that's usually a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That usually means it went well.
This is also a good thing. It's Friday. It's Brandon Lang time.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli is sports handicapper Brandon Lang, subject of the movie Two for the Money.
It's P equals P. You walk into a strip bar and you let her take your hand and drag you into that champagne room. Pressure equals problems. You just can't do it. And I'm telling you, pressure equals problems in the NFL.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
There's 4 things you can't handicap in sports. There's 4 things. Penalties, turnovers, player stupidity, and coaching stupidity. What are they smoking?
Also, listen to Brandon with Clay Harbor and Cam Rogers on the Believe Podcast Network.
You're on a dating app, and they don't show a body picture. Run! Run!
Now, here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
Last week, Eli was off, and Brandon, I think you said, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think you said that this was a better Open than the other Open from last year.
This one's pretty good. You guys did a bang up job on that one.
See, that's
this
why
one, because the other one, I didn't laugh out loud.
I didn't want to rush into a new one.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I got it exactly right. That's why I didn't have it the first week. I had to make sure I had it exactly right. So there you go. I take care of you.
You do take care of me, and we're rocking and rolling. And speaking of take care of me, listen to this. So if you're trying to explain to your girl the business of what I do in point spreads, last night's game and the emotional roller coaster ride couldn't have been a better opportunity to try to get her on board, because the ebb and flow of that game, as far as the point spread was concerned, opened 8, went down to 6, was 6.5. It was like 6, 6.5, 6, 6.5, 6. So we always advise our clients the numbers from 5.5 to 7 with the dog buy it up. So we had a winner because we got 6.5. But trying to explain to her that when Justin Jefferson fumbles it in the end zone at the end of the first half, when Minnesota's probably going to go 14-10, well, you're not going to have to worry about the cover the rest of the game, because you could see at that point that Philadelphia could not stop them in the passing game, that they had figured out where to attack, and Minnesota was pretty much unstoppable. So you get that turnover, and she goes, "Is that good or bad?" That's really going to sting a little bit there, babe. That's going to leave a mark. That you're the underdog plus 6.5. And you leave that 7 off the board, that's going to sting. And so she's watching the game on her phone. I'm at my place, and she's texting, and it's always, is that good or bad? And so, of course, they get the field goal, and then they get the fumble to start the third quarter, and then they score. So now you're chasing the numbers. So what's chasing the number? It means you're going to need a backdoor touchdown. She goes, "Ooh, I like that word." And honey, stay focused. Honey, stay focused on the football game.
Rack that one up, Zach.
We're going to need a backdoor touchdown with 3 minutes on the clock. Well, we're going to need him to score to cover. Well, if you guys watch the fourth quarter, Minnesota scored to get the cover. There's 6.5 minutes to go. 3 first downs, the game's over. Take a knee. Well, of course, they get the chunk play, so now you're thinking they're going to get a field goal for the cover. Nope, they score a touchdown. So here comes the backdoor. And then, of course, they go down and they score, and she's going hysterical, and she goes, so the half point plus 6, they cover. And bless her heart to just be sitting there on her phone trying to pull in this Thursday night game. It's just, guys, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
We were both at the Memphis Navy game, so we were watching the NFL game. Did you do anything with the Memphis Navy game?
I actually talked about it on a couple of radio shows that I like Navy plus the point.
Well, I don't know. Why did everybody like Navy? Because the line kept coming down, and I think by the time we went to kickoff, it was like 11.5. Why did everybody like Navy?
Wow, it started at 16.
Obviously, we're right.
Well, the funny thing about it is that these teams, Memphis, how they're talking about how great Memphis' defense is. And it's kind of like the game tonight with Utah State and Air Force. It's easy to say, well, they have one of the top 5 best defenses in the country when they're playing Our Ladies of the Nun and, Chick-fil-A University.
And Arkansas State.
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy to put up great numbers, but now you start stepping up in competition, and that's what you get. So let's see. It was a huge step up for Memphis. They struggled with Navy, the option. Navy got off to a great start, and they covered. Utah State tonight. They beat Air Force the last 2 games. I think last year they put up 600 yards total offense. The year before that, 420. And since Anderson's taken over, he's beaten Air Force twice. They get 9.5. Then was like, well, Air Force has the number one defense in college football. Well, they faced Sam Houston State and Robert Morris, two absolute powerhouses, guys. I mean, those two schools, watch out. I mean, they're just powerhouses. So let's see. I mean, this non-conference slate, people get all crazy and stuff, and, they start stepping up competition, and you get dogs to cover.
Breaking news from the Big 12, they have added Chick-fil-A University.
By the way, I think Sam Houston has dropped the state, so they've literally played Sam Houston and Robert Morris. They've played two guys. They've played two guys in 2 weeks.
Great Americans, by the way, both of them.
By the way, guys, the slap game of the year won, by the way, with Colorado, just so you know.
The slap game of the year?
You weren't here, Eli. You weren't part of that conversation.
The slap game, that was so funny.
When my girl walked downstairs and I was sitting at the fridge, she slapped me on my buttocks, and said, honey, Colorado's going to cover this week as well. So we called it the slap game of the year.
So you know what I did, Brandon?
Game of the year.
Yeah, so Brandon gave us that. So I took Colorado and I parlayed it with Boise. You had those stats about Boise, and I couldn't remember if you had Boise with the points or Boise straight up. So I played.
No, it was the points because I think they're getting 3.5. They lost by 1.
I know, and I played them. I didn't play them the points. I played them straight up, and they lost.
On.
I couldn't remember, and they lost on that damn field goal at the last second. As time expired, I ended up losing the parlay. I couldn't remember. I should have just texted you.
Some
it was
games
ridiculous.
in colleges. There's one game, Brandon, that the games I really love this year have been easy winners. I absolutely love Kansas State at Missouri. Would you agree?
You're not the only person who loves them. I haven't found anybody who likes the other side. Seriously.
I don't understand the line quite. I would have thought it would have been at least a touchdown.
I mean, I have no feel for that game. The Wildcats have great numbers so far out of the box. They haven't played anybody. One thing about Missouri, though, 15-8 against the spread career mark against teams coming off a win, including 5-0 against the spread their last 5. So be careful. I mean, listen, you know that everybody's on one side, the other side covers.
That makes me
every
leery.
time.
Yeah, it's a strange one. The one I do love though, and now I'm wondering, as soon as I made a play, this story comes out that Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss is being sued by this player, but it's 18.5. I think Georgia Tech is horrible. It's in Oxford. I think Ole Miss crushes them.
Yeah, they're on fire right now. They're on fire right now. Ole Miss is. They look really, really good. They covered last week. I think right now with them, you either play them or stay away. I'm 100% with you. I think that's the right side of the game.
They got lucky to cover last week in the end, but they did. They got there. What about Tennessee and Florida? Tennessee, 6-point favorite. It's on the road. It's a place they have struggled. They've lost 9 in a row in the Swamp. But I just don't. I think this Florida team is bad.
Guys, I'm not lying to you. I was standing at the fridge on Wednesday morning. She walked downstairs. I couldn't see her. Open hand. Bam!
Slap game of the week?
Right buttocks. Hard. I was like, excuse me? He goes, what? You can't handle that? You can't. I'm like, okay, just turnabout's fair play. Okay. I go, what was that for? She goes, Florida Gators.
Whoa.
I go, really? She goes, yep. So I turn the left cheek up. Bam! I go, all right, Florida Gators it is. So slap game of the year number 2 in a row. Florida Gators plus the points over Tennessee. There we go. And actually, what's funny, guys, I actually really like that game.
Really?
So not saying I had it before she came down and popped me twice, but I'm just saying that I really like Florida in the game. Listen to me. Tennessee has not won there
for a long time.
Since 2002, 2003. They've lost 9 in a row, and they haven't won consecutive games against Florida since 2002, 2003, and they've lost 9 straight in the Swamp. And if you look at Florida, they won the stats against Utah, just couldn't close out at Utah. Came back last week, got a rock-solid victory. I'm not so sold on Joe Milton Jr.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm, guys, getting close to a touchdown in a series that they have absolutely owned. Covered last year, 40-34 at Tennessee. I think Florida's in a great spot. Great spot. It's we can throw a little bondage game of the year as well. But that's going a little too deep. It's called slap game of the year. Slap game of the year number 2 in a row.
Yeah, one thing's for sure. Napier really needs to get this win for Florida.
Yep.
All right, LSU is giving 9.5 to Mississippi State in Starkville.
Came on your show week 1 when I took Florida State. He's now 2-8 against the spread his last 10 on the Vegas board. Talk about Chip Kelly. Just not getting it done at all. So I'm going to fade them again. I'm going to keep rolling Mississippi State at home. I think it goes down to the wire. I'm not sold.
Did you say Chip Kelly? Brian
Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Kelly. So I literally love the home dog there as well.
Okay.
There's one other game. I have a theory on Iowa. I don't know that they could score more than 24 points in a game. And so they're giving 28.5. I think it's hard for Iowa. Because literally, I know it's Western Michigan and they're bad. But if Western Michigan scores at all, you're asking Iowa to get over 30 points. And I don't know that that's possible for Iowa.
I think you just play every Iowa game under the posted total the rest of the year and just wait to collect.
Listen, if 42.5 is the total and they're favored by 28.5.
You didn't have Western Michigan couldn't score against Michigan, and now you're asking them to score at Iowa. Seriously, it's unbelievable that they just defensively they're solid, but their offense is only averaging 22 points a game. And you look at Western Michigan, 0-6 straight up, 0-6 against the spread their last 6 in the Vegas board. So I would ride the under, stay away from the sides.
Because week 1, Iowa was giving Utah State 24.5, and I was like, I'm taking Utah State because if they don't score, I still think they will cover, and they actually would have covered because it was but end up 24-10 or whatever. I'm like, this is Iowa just doesn't score
24-14.
Yeah, Iowa just doesn't score more than 24 points. If they get a lead, they just melt. They just run the ball and they punt it, and they don't care about scoring anymore.
All right,
play to their defense.
Let's go to the NFL. Chiefs try to bounce back after that loss to the Lions. They're 3.5-point road favorites at Jacksonville, who held off the Colts in Indy last week.
The Titanic has just hit the iceberg. The band is playing. There are no life rafts left, and the world is going to end. Because I'm telling you right now, the Kansas City Chiefs are about to go to 0-2 because the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to beat them on Sunday. You heard it here first.
Wow, that would be crazy if they
Mark my words.
0-2.
Do they cover 3.5?
Mark my
no,
words.
they're getting 3.5. What am I saying?
They're
wow.
getting
So you don't
3.5.
even need the points. Forget about the stinking
I mean,
points.
listen. Let's say you're working on a bankroll of $1,000. You'll take $750 and put it on Jacksonville plus the points. You'll take the other $250 and put it on the money line. That's how I bet that. If your bankroll's $1,000, they're just you just lost to the Lions at home. Sure, you signed Chris Jones. Kelsey may be back, but what did you see in that game against the Lions that makes you believe that Jacksonville with Peterson, who when they went up there in the playoffs last year, if you remember that game, Jacksonville's driving. They're down 10. There's 6 minutes to go. They're about to score to cut it to 3, and the kid fumbles at the 3-yard line. If they score there, I would have liked to see Patrick Mahomes take the field with 5 minutes to go in that game with that ankle and see what would happen. But didn't happen. The fumble, blah, 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 blah. So, listen, you can't. I've told you guys this a million times. You can't give your quarterback $500 million and keep the team together. You can't. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. And then Tom Brady and all his greatness, the one thing he did that people don't talk about is every year he walked into the front office with Kraft and Belichick and said, okay, what do I need to do to keep the team together?
Discount, double check.
I know you don't want to, you can't overreact to one game. Obviously, the Cowboys looked great against the Giants and beating them 40-0. The Jets lose Aaron Rodgers, and now they got Zach Wilson. They got a bad offensive line against that Cowboys pass rush. Like this screams that the Cowboys should win this game easily. But what do you think of that game?
They could play 4 quarters on Sunday. They could play 4 quarters on Monday. They could play 4 quarters on Tuesday, and they could play 4 quarters on Wednesday. They are not going to reach that post total of 38.5. I don't know if you watched that game on Monday night. That Jets defense
is good.
It's legit. They are legit. They are legit. They are just as good as Dallas's defense. So before we put the cart before the horse with the Dallas's big win against the Giants, That posted total of 38.5. Only way it's getting there is if there's multiple turnovers, which I don't think there will be. I'm going to play under 38.
Well, with Zach Wilson, certainly, and with Dak, that could be, you could get all those.
I would also bet both quarterbacks to throw at least one pick. And kind of
Easy.
Right?
Just jump on. It's just, are you guys promoting the over? Come on.
Absolutely. Titans, a lot of fans around here, are Titans fans. They had 5 field goals and no touchdowns in their loss to New Orleans. They got the Chargers at home. The Chargers were outscored by Miami in their opener. Chargers are a 3-point road favorite.
I'll say it again. I will not trust Brandon Staley. I just won't trust him, boys. Just keep going against him. I told you, someone needs to call 911 in L.A. That man's stealing money. Get that man thrown in jail. Just put him in jail for a year. He's flat out stealing money. Shouldn't even have a job, for that matter. Should be running Bert's Car Wash in South Central Los Angeles. So I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans plus the point.
Speaking of L.A., the Rams looked good last week.
You like that one, don't you?
They've been owned by the 49ers, and the 49ers are over a touchdown favorite on the road. You love your home dogs. Do you love the Rams?
Well, that's the only mistake I really made last week on the NFL board. I pretty much hit everything I looked at, and that was the game I lost was Pittsburgh. They're terrible. They're so bad. It's unbelievable. I can't wait to watch Cleveland go beat them. And with that being said, they'll probably win this week. But I can't go against my home dog. I can't, although you have unbelievable numbers on San Francisco. 10-1 against the spread their last 11 games as a favorite. 9-1 against the spread as a favorite against an opponent coming off a straight-up underdog win. And the Rams check in 1-7 against the spread their last 8 games in this series. I tell you what I would do with this game. I would take San Francisco and tease them down to basically a pick 'em. And then I'd turn right around and I would take the Jacksonville Jaguars up to plus 10.5 and be ready to roll.
All right. Give us another one of your favorite NFL and also one of your favorite college footballs for this week.
College football is the slap game, Florida.
Okay.
I think there's just incredible value. Minnesota last night. Seattle plus the points over Detroit. Huge letdown for Detroit. Pete Carroll's been unbelievable. 8-1 against the spread as an underdog of 7 points or less. Lines come in, big one against KC. They're laying 4.5, 5. That's a number they have not laid, and God knows, going back to the Barry Sanders years. Mm-hmm. I think Seattle goes. Seattle's a great dog. Horrible as a favorite, solid as a dog. I believe they go in there, they match up well. This is a low-scoring game, high-scoring game. Does not matter. It's a field goal game. Give me Seattle plus the 4.5, 5 over Detroit.
For those who don't know, tell everybody about your podcast.
Yeah, he got me. I was, like I said, I was 5-1 last week. He was like 2-4, and then he went 5-3, and I went 3-5. So the ex-NFL tight end got me. So we'll see how he does this week. We're having a lot of fun with it. Miss Cordell, because Cordell was great last year, but at the end of the day, Clay's a little bit better at breaking down the games, and it's been fun so far.
All right, we'll talk to you next Friday. Thanks, Brandon.
Got it, guys.
Take care. BrandonLang.com, the website, but again, co-host of the Believe Me podcast with Clay Harbor. Hosted by Cam Rogers. It's a fun little podcast on handicapping, NFL, college, and just good old time from those guys.
Folks, Genesis Diamonds, the new undisputed leader in value here in Memphis. Folks who go in there with a budget for that engagement ring, well, they often leave spending less than they thought they would and end up with a better diamond, a bigger diamond, and a nicer ring. If you are thinking about getting engaged, do not buy that ring anywhere until you at least go by, check out the selection, check out the value that you get at Genesis Diamonds, a direct diamond importer. They get diamonds from the world's best diamond cutters and no middleman in order to save you money. Plus, their salespeople do not work on commission, so they're not there to pressure you into buying something more expensive. They're there to educate you and help you find that perfect diamond for you. Diamonds, engagement rings, that's obviously the specialty, but there's all kinds of other fine jewelry, pre-owned Rolex watches, all of this that you'll find in a very fun, relaxed atmosphere when you go in to Genesis Diamonds. And they back up every purchase with a 100% free lifetime warranty. They got a unbelievable upgrade policy where you can get up to 120% on your old ring if you're upgrading to a new, bigger one at Genesis Diamonds. They've been the place like that for years in Nashville. Louisville, Cincinnati, and now here in Memphis. They're located in the Poplar Commons Shopping Center. That's at Poplar and Perkins Extended. Check them out there. Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed leader in value here in Memphis. Check them out today.
When we come back, former NFL All-Pro defensive or linebacker Chad Brown will join us to talk NFL and the University of Colorado, where he starred at. With Coach Prime, they are the talk of the town, and we'll get the thoughts of Chad Brown when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day, but it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Okay, this car look great wrapped around you,
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The body's a temple. That's why we're
It's really hard to evaluate teams after 1 week, right? You get a little bit of a thought maybe going for a particular performance. Detroit was sort of the talk of the offseason that they could be a big surprise. They go into Kansas City and win, so it looks like they're legitimate. Are they Super Bowl legitimate? I don't know, but I think it's safe to say that they are vastly improved and will be competitive and could easily be a playoff team. But there's others I just don't know. The Titans, it's interesting. I had Nick Suss on last Friday when you were off, and I said, Nick, the Titans are one of those teams that I just don't know. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if they were really, really good, won the division, or finished third in the division, which is hard to believe in that division they're in. And he said, you're right. I mean, we don't have all the answers here. And then they go out there and they kick 5 field goals. Henry was running the ball well early, but then Tannehill goes out there and throws 3 picks. So I don't know. Will they make a quarterback change? How long will they continue to go with Tannehill? So they're one of those teams I don't know. That's why I'm going to be real curious to see the Titans playing the Chargers this weekend. Of course, you have Brandon, who won't bet anything with Brandon Staley, so he's taking the Titans because of spite, it looks like. But there's a lot of teams right now. I don't think we got a true gauge. Can Josh Allen be that bad again? I mean, he has had, unfortunately, a lot of turnovers in his last couple of years, even though he has led them to some prominent finishes. And then with Cincinnati, they got out to the 0-2 start last year. So Joe Burrow, they got a tough one this week after laying an egg against Cleveland. They got to play Baltimore. So a lot of questions unanswered, right?
They were absolutely terrible. One, and now we'll talk to Chad about this because he's out there in Denver and as an analyst for them, but the Broncos, they took that loss last week. Sean Payton comes in. It was supposed to be the turnaround of Russell Wilson, all of that stuff. And, in the end, there was another loss last week. Right. So they absolutely need a win this week.
Well, it is great once again to be able to talk to Chad Brown. I think most of you folks know who he is, but for those who don't, 15 years he played in the NFL, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and a Pro Football Hall of Fame's class of 2023 nominee. He was also a part of the Colorado Buffalo's first and only NCAA championship team in 1990. Currently, he's a Denver Broncos analyst for 9 News Denver. He's also a co-host of a weekday radio program on Denver sports station 104.3 The Fan, in addition to co-hosting on ESPN Radio. He has worked as a contributor for Pac-12 Network, also ESPN and Compass Media Network's coverage of NCAA college football. He is Chad Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at ChadBrown94. And Chad joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Hey, Chad.
Good morning to you guys. Happy Football Friday to you.
Happy Football Friday to you. Before we talk football, here's one thing I haven't mentioned yet from your stellar resume. You also own a reptile breeding and shipping company called Ship Your Reptiles. Once you were the largest breeder of reptiles, so you're still doing this, but not the largest anymore?
There are some folks who supply some of the larger pet store chains that were much larger than I was. But, yeah, I still do the reptile shipping. Usually do somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 reptile shipments a week for customers and vendors and breeders all across the country.
Oh, my gosh. Have you ever been bitten?
Well, I specialize in, pet-friendly reptiles, non-venomous reptiles.
You can still get bit.
I have not been bitten by a viper or a rattlesnake or anything like that. But if you're around reptiles long enough, yes, absolutely, you are going to get bit. Usually it's from the younger snakes that are afraid that you're trying to eat them, like the little babies assume everything's trying to eat them.
Right.
But there are some reptile species that are not quite used to being handled, maybe the best way to put that. So you got to be cautious when you handle them.
Good for you. That's cool. That's really cool.
Wanted to get you on because you are a former Colorado Buffalo yourself, obviously, and you're out there in Denver now. What's your feeling, and what's the feeling out there with what Deion Sanders has done now through 2 weeks with this Buffalo's team, already doubling last year's win total?
Well, if you thought the hype train was almost going to jump off the tracks during the off season. Now that the hype has met with reality, where they are a top 20, maybe a top 15, where we'll find out maybe even a top 10 football team, the passion, the conversation is absolutely off the charts right now. We knew they would be better because obviously they were one of the worst teams in college football last year. When you bring in the number of recruits and the kind of recruits that Coach Prime has been able to bring in, you can't help but be better talent-wise. 88 new players on the roster, 68 new scholarship players. But the best teams I've ever been on weren't the teams that were the most talented. They were the teams that played together the best. So for me, the biggest surprise in all this is not that they are a better football team. Yeah, you got better players. But how quickly they've been able to come together and play together. Now, in the first 2 weeks of the season, they were the cleaner playing football team versus TCU in Nebraska. They were the better coached football team versus TCU in Nebraska. And they played a smarter brand of football. I didn't think that would be possible so soon for them to pull off.
I think he's a breath of fresh air. He's doing something that's a little bit unorthodox, but we may see more of it now in this world of the transfer portal. I like that he's backing up what he says. But there are people out there that are they're just haters, Chad, and they want him to fail. And even Jay Norvell, Colorado State's head coach, to come in and say the things he said. Well, I don't even know why he had to open his mouth, which is just stupid to do so. And now here's Prime coming out and saying, now it's a personal game. We thought everything will be fine, just a good old game, but now it's personal. So why do people want him to fail?
Well, I think when you are as confident and even, let's go past confident, braggadocious, full of swagger, all that stuff that Coach Prime is, you're naturally going to have haters who just don't like that level of confidence. And so for a guy who's never done it on this level before, he had success at Jackson State, no doubt about that, in HBCU, but to be in a Power 5 and to be able to pull off this so quickly, even a guy like Matt Rule, who's known as a turnaround coach, turned around Baylor, turned around Temple. It took him until the second year to be able to find some success. For Coach Prime to do it this early, I think all those haters, it just pours more haterade into their drink for them. Like, somehow he's doing this wrong. Somehow this has got to be, illegal. We've got to find a way to ban future coaches from doing what Coach Prime has been able to do, essentially hit the transfer portal, get guys coming in, and rebuild a program within just 1 year.
After Colorado State, they get Oregon and USC, and we'll kind of find out more about them. And I know there'll be a lot of people that if they lose those both say, like, see, I told you, they just hadn't played anybody, but I don't care if they lose those games. Like, to me, what he's done is amazing. But how good do you think they actually are? And when they play Oregon and USC, like, what are their chances?
Obviously, USC is a very good program, got a Heisman Trophy-winning quarterback. But I think Oregon is vulnerable. Bo Nix has certainly been in college football a long time and has had some success. But I've called some Bo Nix games over the last couple of seasons, and there's something left to be desired with him at quarterback. If Shedeur Sanders and Sean Lewis, the offensive coordinator for the Bucs, continue to grow their relationship and take steps forward offensively, that wide receiver room with Travis Hunter in it and other guys in it may be one of the most talented wide receiver rooms in the country. So you got a quarterback who Mel Kiper says is the number 3 quarterback in the draft in Shedeur Sanders. You got a wide receiver room that has not just 1 or 2 guys, has 4 or 5 guys in it. It makes me think that there's still more for them to do. And obviously, with CSU coming up this weekend and being a lower-level opponent, chances are the Bucs are going to be 3-0 after this week. And so for Oregon, who hasn't played great this season, I think they are vulnerable. So the hype train is going to continue to meet with reality, and the conversation around the Buffaloes program, it seems amazing that it's actually going to get bigger because Fox Big Noon Kickoff was at TCU. Then they were in Boulder last week against Nebraska. ESPN Game Day is on campus right now up in Boulder. So the hype train is somehow going to get even bigger moving forward.
Chad Brown joining us on the program. You can follow him on Twitter at ChadBrown94. So having worked a lot with the Pac-12, doing analysis on some of those games, what do you think about the whole implosion of this conference that everybody but 2 have gone on to other conferences and will not be the Pac-12 anymore. To just see this long-standing conference explode in front of our very eyes.
It bums me out because I'm a Southern California guy. I grew up in the shadow of the Rose Bowl. My high school, when we did conditioning, we had to run and touch the gate at the Rose Bowl and run back to our high school. I saw programs at the Rose Bowl. I saw programs at the Rose Parade. So if anybody's going to be sad about this, I'm certainly in that category. This is when I think of college football, I think of the Rose Bowl and the Pac-12 championship and the Big 12 champion. Big 10 champion getting together. I think about USC, UCLA, all those schools I grew up watching as a Southern California kid. So it certainly bums me out. But this is the way that college football is moving. And, to avoid being the old man, get off my lawn kind of moment, this change is the only constant in life. And ultimately, I see 5 years, 10 years from now down the road where we have a AFC, NFC kind of thing with the SEC and the Big Ten. And those are the two conferences at Tier 1 of college football. And each of those conferences has 2 10-team divisions in them, so 40 teams overall in Tier 1. And it'll be all the blue bloods that we think of. Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, all those kinds of schools. And everyone else will be competing for the Tier 2 or the Tier 3 national championship below that. So for my Colorado Buffaloes to get with Coach Prime and to come back into the national conversation at just the right time, I think hopefully we'll get them included into that top 40 Tier 1 picture that I'm talking about, because there's no reason why Vanderbilt should still be in the SEC from a football perspective. Northwestern shouldn't be in the Big Ten from a football perspective. They don't drive revenue, they don't drive dollars, they don't drive viewership, and they certainly don't lift the program from a football perspective. So if money is going to be driving things, then again, I see this AFC, NFC scenario playing out into the future where we have the true teams who are willing to invest in their programs competing for the true Tier 1 national championship.
Shifting to the NFL, the team that you're out there close to doing analysis for, the Denver Broncos. All the blame went to Nathaniel Hackett last year. He ruined Russell Wilson. They bring in Sean Payton. Everything's supposed to be great for this year. They lose week 1. Wilson completed a bunch of passes, but not for very many yards. What's the feeling right now around the Denver Broncos under Sean Payton?
The feeling currently among the very apathetic fan base is here we go again. Mm-hmm. Here we go again. Russell Wilson is 10-20 in his last 30 starts. Now, I know some of those he was nicked up in Seattle with a finger injury, but Russell Wilson hasn't been good for a long period of time. And for Sean Payton, who was brought in, given a big money deal by the Walton Penner Group, the richest owners in professional sports, to change Russell Wilson in this offense and score more points, only scored 16 points in week 1 against Las Vegas, to change the way this Bronco team plays, to get them to be a cleaner, smarter playing football team. They were heavily penalized against Las Vegas, just as they were last year under Nathaniel Hackett. It feels like here we go again. I expect Sean Payton, due to his experience, to get this team moving in the right direction, but week 1 results certainly didn't play out very well for them.
So what do you think after just 1 week? It's very hard to gauge a lot of teams, but one of the teams certainly that took the NFL by storm, Detroit, on Thursday of last week, going into Kansas City and winning. We saw the improvement last year, but they seem to be legitimate this year. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. There's something to love about Dan Campbell, and I think he kind of ingratiated himself to football fans with his hard knocks and some of his crazy comments about pant legs and dirty pants and biting kneecaps off and all that crazy stuff, which was awesome. You know, some of the greatest football coaches I've been around speak in very apocalyptic language at times, so Dan Campbell certainly applies to that. But he has built a football team that reflects his hard-nosed personality that he played with as a coach and as he wants his football team to be. Smart, hard-nosed, runs the football well, plays physical football. They were able to beat the Chiefs, which were without 2 of their best players. But it's something to be said for coming out and taking on the champ and beating the champ. If you want to be the champ, you got to beat the champ, and the Lions were able to do that.
The Aaron Rodgers injury, and I don't know if you had a situation in your career or something like that. I mean, we watched Hard Knocks, and we saw all those guys talking about, like, you know, this year we've got a chance because we've got a quarterback. Like, we didn't have this chance before, but now we've got our guy. 4 plays into the season, you no longer have that guy. from a player's perspective in that locker room, mentally, like how do you try and, because you're all just believing in one guy and now he's not there anymore. So how do you try and get over that and still think you have a chance?
Football has long had a next man up mentality. And I think all players buy into that. You got to mourn the guy who was up before the next man comes up. You got to mourn the past of him because they're going to miss not just his playing on the field, but his leadership. And to your point, he brought a ton of confidence to this football team. I had a Jets game last year against Seattle late in the season, and it was clear they were an incredibly talented football team that was just lacking a quarterback. Mm-hmm. So for them to hitch their wagon to Zach Wilson, all those guys who are, talented, Garrett Wilson, the receiver, Sauce Gardner, the cornerback, Quentin Williams on the defensive line, Breece Hall as running back, all those guys are going to have to find a way to step up and elevate their game to make up for the loss of a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I think Robert Saleh is a tremendous coach. I did a coaching internship in San Francisco when he was a defensive coordinator there. I had a chance to watch him from a very up-close perspective. He'll get this team's mindset right. He'll get them pointed in the right direction. At this point, it is up to Nathaniel Hackett, who we just talked about, leaving the Denver Broncos coach last year and failing with Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. It's going to be up to Nathaniel Hackett and Zach Wilson on how they can move this team forward offensively and become a quarterback who's not a liability, but actually adds to their chances for success towards victory.
Chad, we always appreciate your time. Thank you so much for the insight. Make sure to follow Chad on Twitter at ChadBrown94. And you also will listen to his show, I assume, anywhere around the world. Chad, thank you so much. Again, looking forward to having you back on down the road.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Chad. Hey, moving can be stressful. The folks at Black Tie Moving, well, they'll make it easy on you, as easy as it possibly can be. You want to make sure you have professionals to help you move, and that's exactly what you get with Black Tie Moving. Professionals. Professional in everything they do. They're going to make sure that the process is as smooth as it can be, and your belongings are going to get where they're going without any issues. They first sit down with you, coming up with a plan to fit both your needs and your budget, and they give you a no-obligation quote up front. When you go with Black Tie Moving, they give you a moving concierge available to you 24/7 throughout the process. For anything that comes up, you can get your questions answered. All you got to do is pick up the phone. 901-316-6196, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. You'll get that personal, no obligation quote from the folks at Black Tie Moving. If you're moving across town, moving across country, wherever it is you're moving, make sure you get the professionals to help you, and the right professionals are Black Tie Moving.
We're back with our final segment of the week right here on Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See deal for complete details, offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis.
Get them to sign on the line which is dotted.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute, pretend I don't live in it. Sunshine gonna wash my blues away.
This hour is brought to you by Acura Memphis, Ridgeway and 385, online, AcuraMemphis.com. Beautiful days, great days this weekend to get on by. Take a test drive. Check out those beautiful Acura automobiles. New vehicles, pre-owned vehicles, certified pre-owned Acuras. You'll find them all at Acura of Memphis. And you're always going to have a great experience there with the great folks at Acura of Memphis.
Happy birthday to Jaren Jackson Jr. Turns 24 years of age today.
Good for Jaren.
Speaking of bigs in the NBA, boy, if you're a big guy and can walk and chew gum at the same time, you probably will have a sustained career, a long career, unless you're Hasheem Thabeet. Sorry. Taj Gibson returning to the Washington Wizards. Taj Gibson, when's the last time he did anything? JaVale McGee, didn't he sign with Sacramento like in the last month? They're just...
He signed, I think it was Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento.
I mean, they're just like there, right? These guys, do they even play?
Locker room guy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's like, I mean, outside of, because the last time Taj Gibson played meaningful basketball to me is probably when he was with Chicago. That's
Taj
the
Gibson, that's what I'm
that's
thinking
my
as well.
last memory of him.
Gibson's not one of those guys that was connected to one of the Kardashians, was it?
I don't think so.
Who was the big that was connected to one of the Kardashians? And I'm not talking about the
You're
old...
talking about Chris Humphries?
No, I'm not talking about Chris Humphries.
Tristan Thompson?
Tristan Thompson.
Lamar Odom.
Yeah, Lamar Odom. Tristan Thompson was who I was thinking of. Have they switched off now to maybe baseball players? Just sticking with basketball. Or musicians.
It's to be determined at the moment.
Or musicians, right?
Right now, Courtney married Travis Barker.
Oh, the musician. There you go. And Kim was she married to Kanye?
Yeah, she was married. Now they're divorced.
Taj Gibson, the 2 years in Minnesota, 2017-18 and 18-19, had pretty good years. He averaged 12 and 7 one year.
That's good, but that's 4 years ago.
The next year.
What has he done the last few years?
With the Knicks, he didn't play a whole lot for 3 years. Last year at Washington, he didn't do much.
Stats just texted me, said Taj Gibson's last good season was 1998. I'm telling you, man, if you're big and you're coordinated, you got a good chance. Got a good chance to put together a long career and make a lot of money. All right, so again, the Tigers winning last night 28-24. Now they'll have a lot of time to get ready for Missouri. That'll be their next game 1 week from tomorrow in St. Louis. Tomorrow, Ole Miss takes on Georgia Tech. You got Tennessee and Florida in the swamp. And very interesting what Brandon Lang had to say, the slap game of the week. Likes the Gators.
I don't know, man.
Huge game for Billy Napier.
I am not with him on that one.
I think. Look,
I am nobody to doubt the slap, but I just don't believe in this Florida team.
You were the one who said, I think that Napier's done.
So they will get fired.
He will get fired this year. Well, this will go a long way into keeping his job. He beats Florida. I think he's going to keep his job no matter what, unless they lost every game. Beats Tennessee. Unless he lost all the rest of his games. But, yeah, I think it's a huge game. I'm not necessarily agreeing with you. I don't think he'll get canned, but I still think that he has a chance to make a statement with a win over Tennessee and would go a long way to helping his cause.
Well, yeah, obviously, if you beat Tennessee, I mean, and Tennessee's ranked what this week? Like top 10?
Yes, I think they're 10, aren't they?
You get a win over a top 10 team.
Right.
That obviously goes a long way towards helping you keep your job.
I wasn't even thinking of that. I was just thinking of the normal rivalry that is Florida and Tennessee, and that Florida has dominated in the swamp, and you want to keep that streak going.
The Ole Miss Georgia Tech game, of course, we will have that here on Sports 56, 4:30 pregame tomorrow. Sunday, we'll have an NFL triple header for you. The Ravens and the Bengals, the 49ers and the Rams, and then the Sunday night game is the Dolphins and the Patriots. So we'll have a full day of NFL football on Sunday here on Sports 56 after college football tomorrow with Ole Miss and Georgia Tech.
One final thing, Adam Zagoria tweeting out that Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and John Morant are expected to attend and coach in the Nike World Basketball Festival on Saturday at Lincoln Center. John Morant has really not made too many public appearances since the suspension went down. I mean, he's probably been out a few times, but this would be kind of the first one, if I'm not mistaken. So that's what Adam Zagoria is reporting. That'll do it for us today and this week. I want to thank John Varlas, Brandon Lang, and Chad Brown for joining us on the program today. We'll be back bright and early Monday morning starting at 7 a.m. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Don't stop believing.